Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Back to Delta Oaks Ranch Podcast. And today's guest is Raymond Orta. I don't think he really needs an introduction, so I'm not going to go too much in details, all right? Yeah, because we've been already talking off record here, talking about different things, but I really don't feel you need a big introduction. Everybody knows Raymond Orta.
Ni me conocen la casa. That's what I say. I always say that, man.
Yeah.
Pero it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. The Delta Oaks Ranch Podcast. And we're doing an exclusive giveaway.
Yes, we are.
With you guys.
Yeah.
We're giving away VIP tables to anybody that's listening. We're going to give away a VIP table to my next comedy show at the Isla Grande Beach Resort. So I'll make sure to include how to win that VIP table for you guys. It's an amazing partnership here with you guys. And I want to thank you for being a part of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And for a lot of people out there that don't know about it, I've been to your shows. I introduced myself to you a couple times, but anyway, it's an awesome show. Yeah. For those of you that have never been, you need to try it out. Even if you don't win the tickets, you need to go out there and check out Raymond Orta. Yeah. It's a blast. You're on the island, and then you're listening to one of the best comedians that we have in the area, and some of the guests you have out there. I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome time.
And every week we have different comedians coming in from all over the nation to the island. So you're getting entertained by national touring comedians. I mean, you have nothing to lose. It's a night on the island, having drinks, having a good time with your significant other, watching some comedy. And then during the summertime, we have fireworks on the beach. So you watch the comedy show, and then you go outside and watch the fireworks right on the beach. I mean, if you don't get laid after that, you got zero game. You got zero games, son. Zero.
You know what I try to do? Me personally, I try to make it like a date night.
Yeah.
You know, si no has sacado tu wife or tu querida or your girlfriend or whoever your loved one is, right? Yeah. It's a perfect time, man.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And it's Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. So if you need to get to work the next day or whatever, you can still make it home and still get sleep and stuff like that. So it never goes
not too bad.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being a partner with that and doing a giveaway here on your podcast, the Delta Oaks Ranch Podcast, exclusive partners with the Isla Grande Beach Resort. ¿Qué más quieres?
Yeah, I know. Y cuando voy y te miro, I'm sitting over there just enjoying your comedy show and everything, comiendo popcorn, and a beer. So I'm the guy who opened the burger and risa. Cuidándome la costilla, my ribs are making us laugh, man.
I've been known to aflojar el mofle. I've made two people crap their pants.
Yeah.
That's like my claim to fame. So many people can make people pee their pants. I've made two people crap their pants. That's next level. That's the next level.
So when I was sitting up there, because I admire a lot of people that are successful from the Rio Grande Valley. Nosotros being, Mexican descent, Mexican Americans, somos raza aquí del Valle. And this is me, my personal opinion, when I see people succeed and become winners in that, I admire that. So that's one of the questions, that I wanted to ask you. Y también one of the reasons I wanted to have you here on my podcast, and kind of explore that and discuss those topics. Like, who's Raymond Orta? I mean, ¿cómo empezaste? Because supposedly when I did a little research about you, you did your first joke when you were 8? Or ¿cómo tuvo eso? A ver, explícalos. Tell us about it.
So very funny story. One time, I was always a class clown. I've been making teachers laugh, kids laugh since I was in kindergarten. But I never went on stage with it until I was in 3rd grade. And when I tell people this, like I started comedy in 3rd grade, like they're like, no mames. Like, no, but I'm serious. Like one of my teachers, my English teacher, I'll never forget her because she's an amazing influence of mine.
Okay.
When I was a young kid, she came into the room and she goes, Raymond, they're doing a talent show. And she showed me the poster. And it said, JFK Elementary Talent Show. Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you do magic? Can you do... And they had all these lists of things. And at the very bottom, or even tell jokes. Like, there was like the last, even tell jokes. Raymond, you can do that. Yeah. You can tell jokes. And all you got to do is write your skit and do 5 minutes, and you can go up on there and participate in the talent show.
Yeah.
And she already knew me as the class clown, I'm like, dude, this is great. I'll do that.
Fama.
See, yeah. So I did it. I wrote my own jokes.
Right.
And I went up on stage. And at the time, it was like kind of cheesy jokes. Like I did a lot of impressions. I did a lot of impressions of the Sesame Street characters, Barney, the Muppet Babies and stuff like that,
Se me acaba de ocurrir esto, and let me ask you, just pause a little bit. So I'm just curious, right? Did you ever keep some of those jokes and just kind of evolve them?
Yes.
You know?
100%.
Like, which one do you still remember, Sabes que this was my first? Do you remember?
Yes.
¿Cuál fue the very first joke you ever had?
I remember it vividly.
Okay.
It's crazy, right? And what's crazy is that I did this joke as a third grader, you tell me. But I say, man, I love being here in school, but people get into fights, and I don't know why they try to get into fights, because it never actually goes to trancazos. It just turns into a contest of who could lean back the furthest. And it's like, there'll be one guy like, pues qué? Like, the other guy's like, oh, te la cantó. Oh, pues qué? And it's like, oh, the other guy's like, oh, así, güey. Pues qué? And I was leaning back and forth pretending to be both guys. And I would be like if I was leaning all the way back, like I was the Matrix, pues qué? And then I eventually fell on my back, and I go, that guy, and I get up and go, no, that guy won. And it's still pretty clever as a third grader. Third grader. And then that was one of my, like the first joke I told. And then I did the joke of I did a lot of voices, like Kermit the Frog. Hey, Kermit the Frog here. And I like those voices nunca se me van. Like I can still bust them out like nothing's fresh. And but in third grade, I did 5 minutes of clean comedy, which is the hardest form of comedy.
Right.
And I won. I won the talent show.
Wow.
So from that moment, I was before that, I was the ugly, chubby kid.
Uh-huh.
And then like I remember this one time, bro. No se me olvida. They told this girl that I had a crush on her, bro. Like they're like, hey, Brenda, Raymond has a crush on you. And she was just like, ew. I was heartbroken, dog. I was heartbroken. And then like after that, she was like, oh, Raymond, you're so funny. And dude, it changed from one day to the next. I was a chubby, ugly kid to now I'm the funny, popular kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew from that moment, I was 8 years old, that this is what I wanted to do. So that was in third grade. Fourth grade, I did the talent show again. I won the talent show. Fifth grade, I did the talent show again. I won the talent show. I've never lost a talent show in my life.
Okay, but this was in third grade.
Yeah, third grade.
So how old are you in third grade? What, 8, 9? 8? Okay.
Yeah.
And so was there anything before that you, I don't know, like other kids, you think, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a policeman. Nunca le has pensado, did you have any other desire?
I always wanted to be a rock star, bro.
So an artist.
An artist.
An artist,
And you know what's funny is that my thought mentality at that age, fíjate like how advanced my thinking was. I was thinking, man, if I'm a rock star and I'm like the lead singer of a band, I'm going to have to share my money with other people. Like I'm going to have to not only share my money with them, we're going to have to be carrying instruments and all that stuff. With stand-up comedy, I can just do a microphone and that's all I need. And I was like, no, man, that's a lot easier. And I don't have to deal with anybody's egos. Anybody else is like, nah, man, hey, I'm the star. And I don't have to deal with anybody else except me. And I was thinking that as a third grader, bro.
Right.
I was thinking like that, on an advanced level. And I really think that also I was thinking, man, I wanted to be into movies. I wanted to become an actor. But I was thinking, I'm not really a good looking guy como Brad Pitt or something, but I would see like Rodney Dangerfield and Robin Williams.
Yeah, and they were successful.
And they were massively successful. So I was like, man, I'll do comedy and I'll get into movies through my funniness.
Oye, Raymond, pues now that you are successful and you're a comedian, ¿no se te ha presentado oportunidades, like opportunities maybe to go, I don't know, like short skits in a movie, or nobody's come up to you? Or?
Yes, I got invited. I actually got represented by the top comedy agency in Hollywood, and then I got offered a dress, one of those roles with a dress where you have to put on a dress,
right?
And I was like, oh, dude, but I had already done research into all that onda, I didn't want to be involved in that, So they offered me a role. I've actually done a movie where I did a voiceover for a Pixar film. And it's a movie that went to Malaysia. You remember the movie De los Carros with Cars?
Yeah.
So they did a Cars spin-off called Wheelie.
Wheelie, okay.
Yeah, Wheelie, like Papa
Como
Wheelie.
Willie knows? I don't know.
No, like Papa Wheelie, ¿verdad? And it went to like the Asian market, and I played one of the voices of they have these cars out there, and like the evil cars are the lowriders.
And it actually made it into an actual cartoon movie.
Yeah.
Can we find it on YouTube here? Is it there?
I'm letting you know you can, or you can find little clips of it, but I'm letting you know, I've read the reviews. I haven't seen it myself, but I read the reviews and it's a terrible movie. Like it's terrible. Like it's a terrible movie. But I'm one of the voices of the lowrider goon cars. Like, hey, what's up, man? Let's do it. Okay, hey, we got to get this guy.
Yeah.
And they just needed a Mexican lowrider car voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm like one of the goons. Yeah. Like of the main boss, like the villain.
Okay.
So I'm like the villain is like this big semi truck that's like an evil semi truck, and his goons are like little lowrider cars. Like, hey, what's up, man? Let's go get this guy.
Right. But they haven't approached you like for any other type of movies, roles, or voiceovers nowadays.
After that, they asked me to do there was this movie that I got where they asked me to wear that dress, but they had offered the movie to Gabriel Iglesias first. And then they told me, well, Gabriel, we offered it to Gabriel, but they said no. He said no. And immediately when that happened, it threw up my red flags. Like,
okay.
Like, why did he say no? And I looked over the script, and essentially it was like, you've seen Big Mama's House?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like Big Mama's House, but the Mexican version, and they were going to call it Tia Juana.
Okay.
And the plot was this guy's Gabriel, or the person that they were to get to play this role, was going to be like this lady's nephew, ¿verdad? Y Tia Juana was going to go and win the lottery. And then she had a heart attack when she saw that she won the ticket.
Right.
And she had a heart attack and passed away. So this guy was going to have to get into her dress and pretend to be Tia Juana to go get the prize.
Okay.
And I'm
impersonator.
Pues
eso pasa todo el tiempo aquí en el valle, bro.
Oh, pues ya, güey. El que no tranza no avanza. That's what they say in the valley. Pero I told him, like, dude, I don't want to get in a dress. You know, I don't want to get in a dress. And because I already knew, like, have you ever seen the Illuminati stuff? Like, yo estoy en conspiracy theorist, gotcha.
No, yeah.
And I've seen the interviews that Dave Chappelle did.
Right. And he talks about stuff like that.
So
is it true, bro?
Yes, dude, all that stuff is true, bro. All that stuff is true.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've seen it firsthand in the industry. Like, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I know this stuff happens. I've been to Hollywood. I've been offered these roles. I've had agents fight over me. Like I did this show in Hollywood where there was 3 of the Hollywood agencies, top agents at the show. Y estaba sold out el pedo. I sold it out. I crushed it, bro. And after the show, there's 3 agents fighting over me, bro. They're in the parking lot, like arguing who's going to represent me, what agency is going to represent me. And so they were, as soon as I got picked up by these guys, dije yo, ya la hice. I made it. This is it. I've made it. This is the next level. I'm going to take it to the next level.
Right.
And so that's when I got that Pixar movie and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, dude, this is going to start snowballing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then they offered me the role with a dress that they offered to Gabriel Iglesias first. And he said no. And they offered it to me. And I read the script and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get in a dress. Because the thing is, if you've ever seen a comedy or a comedian or an actor wear a dress on camera or in a movie, they had to do some shady stuff in order to get put in the dress. And by shady stuff, I mean like either going, you know, a little,
really?
Yeah, they either go down on the director or they let them a little.
So all that is true, bro.
All that P. Diddy stuff.
So otros camaradas maybe that you're networking with, they would tell you, hey, you're going to get this role, but te vas a tener que mochar or what? Really? They would literally tell you that or what?
This is the industry.
I get it.
And when you see a comedian or an actor on stage or on in a movie wearing a dress, that's the director's or like the label's owner way of telling the other guys, hey, I made this guy my bitch.
Okay.
So that's the way of letting them know letting their friends know, I own this guy now.
Got you.
So that when you see a person wearing a dress, a dude wearing a dress, that's what
That's really interesting, bro.
That's what's going on in Hollywood, bro.
And do you think now it's going to be changing because of the new political world? You know,
I've been calling that Hollywood was going to die a slow, nasty, painful death for years, bro. Years and years. And I've been seeing it. I've seen it. Pero yo les dije when they told me, you know, this is your role. You're going to get, you know, you're going to get next level. It's going to be like Big Mama's House, but the Mexican version of it. It's going to be big. It's going to be a big time thing. And I told them, nah, I don't want to do that, bro. I don't want to get in a dress. And they're like, oh, why not? It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. Ah, dude, bro, I can be funny without the dress.
Exactly.
No, bro. You think about it. It's going to be super fun. I'm like, dude, I don't need I don't need to be putting on a dress to be funny.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, bro, come on, think about this. It's going to be hilarious. But guys, I don't want to put on a dress. I'm from Texas. If I put on a dress, bro, I'll never win an argument ever again.
Yeah.
All they'll do is bring up a picture of me in a dress. He's like, hey, bro, you're a bitch. Shut up.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know? And they were like, come on, bro. It's going to be super funny. I finally told him, I'm not going to put on a dress, bro. It goes against my religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said that, bro, you saw Hollywood for what it is.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, bro, they were like,
yeah,
it goes against your religious beliefs. I go, no, it says in the Bible, a man isn't supposed to wear what pertains to a woman, and a woman isn't supposed to be wearing what pertains to a man. And to do so is you become an abomination to the eyes of the Lord. And I'm not going to do that. And as soon as I said that, bro, as soon as I said that, they go, well, you'll never get any work like that with that kind of closed-minded attitude around here. And they never called me again. I never got another phone call from those guys.
Wow.
And I've been doing it grassroots ever since. But in all honesty, I'm happy that I've done it that way because I didn't want to be somebody's bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, nobody does.
Yeah. And
you want to do things the right way.
And if it takes longer, or if I'm not getting that much payment, I know that I'm doing it the right way and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine. Like, man, like the opportunities that have come through me making that decision have still put food on the table, have put clothes on my kids' back and a roof over our heads. I'm fine with it. I'm not que digas tú, oh, like, I want to have like millions and millions of dollars and all this. I mean, si pasa, pa que si madre, you know? But if I'm doing it the wrong way, I don't want my kids to be seeing me as a sellout. I'm not. And people call me sellout all the time, but if they really knew that I didn't sell out.
Yeah.
I pulled out of that industry. And said, I'm doing it the right way. I'm doing it grassroots and stuff.
Well, now that I'm hearing your story about that, I'm glad you didn't, man. I'm really glad because I consider you are a success story from the Valley.
I would like to I love the Valley, bro. I love the Valley. People give me crap about staying in the Valley all the time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you never made it. I'm like, dude, what do you mean never making it? I love where I'm from.
Yeah.
I live where I love. I've made it. In my my standards, to my standards, ya la tengo hecha, güey. I go anywhere, bro, here in the Valley, man, I get treated like family by everybody, bro. So I mean, for me, I don't want to be in Hollywood. I've been in Hollywood I can only stand it out there for like maybe a week at a time because everybody has a different attitude over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're all like, hey, what's going on? Hey, oh my goodness.
So like they're superficial. No, yeah, fake, right?
Fake, güey.
Yeah.
Aquí en el Valle, güey, everybody's real. Everybody's gente, güey. Like the real deal McCoy. The people, you know what I love about the Valley? Es que people, they know who you are y no te la hacen que estás bien chingón.
Yeah.
They're not like real, like, they see you like, I'm better pinche Raymond, way. Like, te tiran a león, way. Like, it's super awesome.
Well, let's break that down. You know, I totally agree with you. I'm very proud to be from the Valley, ¿verdad? But there's sometimes, you ever heard, you know, sometimes our own people are not supportive of us.
100%.
So that's, would you consider that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Ya cuando la estás haciendo, you're successful.
Yeah.
Te echan tierra or this and that. They're not supportive. I don't dig that. I've always been the type, sabes que apóyalo, que bueno.
Yeah.
He's one of us.
I've seen that and I've experienced that. And I know that there's comedians that are from the Valley that have been on TV. They've had their own sitcoms. They've been on Conan. They've been on Jay Leno. They've been on Kimmel. They've been on all those shows. But they had to move away because, the Valley is one of the most critical places in the world. And I think about it like this. Everybody in their family has somebody that's funny. You know, everybody has a tío que pinche relaje. Hey, ¿qué onda, güey? You know?
Yeah, el cagapalo.
El cagapalo. And you have to be funnier than that guy in order to be taken seriously as a comedian. Same thing with music. Musicians, bro, down here, holy way. Everybody in their family has a tío that can play accordion or bajo. And if you're not playing it better than them, and some of these guys are like really accomplished musicians, like big time Tejano artists, you know, real stars. But they just see them as their tío.
So how have you made it? How do you deal with it, Entonces, Raymond? Because, you're very successful. I'm pretty sure, and I've seen sometimes the cosas que te ponen ahí, and you're just trying to be general, trying to be funny,
Sí.
llevándotela bien, but sometimes they take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Y te echan tierra and they say this or that. So how do you deal so it doesn't affect your mojo so you can stay, sabes que, hey, I don't care what they have to say.
I really don't, because Facebook and...
Yeah, but how do you do it? Like in your mind, what's going through your mind? Like, tírale.
No, pues, in the one thing that gets me real peace is I'm not meant for everybody. Mm-hmm. And the Jesus said that if the world loves you, that means you were trying to please the world and you weren't trying to please God.
Yeah.
So if you are loved by the world, that means you're a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And if you're hated by the world, that means you were pleasing God. Yeah. And for me, every time I get hated on, I know that I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
Because I'm not supposed to make people love me. Like if they do love me, great. But if they don't love me, I know that A, I'm not perfect, and B, there was a perfect man on earth. Mm-hmm. And they crucified him.
Yeah.
So if they're making fun of me, I'm like, all right, well, ¿qué le haces?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but it's not my job to be everybody's cup of tea. I used to think beforehand, I used to, and these little negative comments would crush me, bro. They get under my skin, big time. But then I realized, I'm like, there was a shift. Mm-hmm. There was a shift that happened where it was like, man, I need to go on stage. From one moment, it was, I need to go on stage and make these people laugh. Mm-hmm. And I need to make sure that they laugh harder than they've ever laughed before. And then there was a shift in saying like, man, because I would go up on stage and tell these jokes, and I'm just like, I would feel like I'm dying inside just telling these jokes because they're so like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see a Mexican comedian.
So what do you say? You were kind of holding back?
Gotcha. Like I wasn't being true to my own authentic self, like as my material like progressed. Yeah. I was still doing chancla jokes and like, hey, huevo.
So you had a paradigm shift.
Sí.
¿Cuándo pasó eso, Raymond? How far back?
I would say about maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Where I said, you know what? I want to go up on stage now and I want to tell jokes that I find humorous myself, mm-hmm. that I'm genuinely excited to tell. Like I want to tell this joke because I'm excited about it and it makes me laugh. And if it makes me laugh, that's all I care about. I want to be amused on stage, and I want to be having a good time for myself.
Okay.
And if you laugh, great. And if you didn't, I did. And that's all that matters. As long as I had a good time. So, man, when I did that, I went on stage and it vastly changed every time I went on stage, bro, I was laughing at myself. Like I was, and you see it on my comedy clips now. I'll tell jokes that it's just like so funny to me.
Yeah.
And they're not even like, que digas tú, like I just put out this new clip on TikTok that's going super viral about mosquitoes. I don't know if you saw it.
I did see it.
Okay, the mosquito.
Yeah, we'll put it up in the
okay, yeah, it's one of my it's seriously has turned into one of my favorite jokes.
Yeah.
Because it's so outlandishly stupid. Like but when I'm telling it, I'm getting this huge kick out of it. Like I'm genuinely laughing. And then when I see the big punchline, I see people's laughter like los pesque totally off guard.
Yeah.
And when they laugh at it, I'm like, ay, wait, like
you hit it.
I hit it and I laugh so hard at it.
Yeah.
And people think like, oh, you're fake laughing. You know? No. When I see you react to my own joke the way that I reacted to it, I have a great time with it. I'm genuinely supremely happy with it.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
There it is up there. Can we get the audio también, Roland? Okay. Texas mosquitoes.
And we just came back from there, and we were outside, and they're like, hey, careful, man, because we're dealing with a lot of mosquito problem. Like, we got a big mosquito problem out there. Pinches mosquitoes, they'll están todos cute. Like, you go outside, and the mosquitoes are all whispering sweet nothings in your ear. They're all buzzing by.
El Firulais.
Yeah.
Here in South Texas, we have different, like Texas has its own mosquitoes where they're crazy. If you go to the middle of Texas, donde hay chingos de monte in the hill country, bro, mosquitoes, they'll sound different. You go outside of your car, try to take a piss on the side of the road, de repente, like one of them's taking your dog. But down here in South Texas, we have the Texas mosquitoes interbreeding with the Mexican mosquitoes, and they're different. You know? Especially here in Laredo, bro, mosquitoes, you go outside, they sound different. De repente you hear one, they swarm you one by one, and then all of a sudden you're surrounded. Like one mosquito will pass by, it's like, el tonto.
Dude,
Yeah,
like
super funny.
that for me, that joke is like is so silly.
It came from you though.
Yeah, it came
It's
straight from the heart.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that I was talking with some friends of mine, like we're just having lunch, and I just came up with that joke, like and having lunch with these friends of mine, and when I did it, my friend's wife, man, she like spit out her drink, like right, and I'm like, oh, that's
a good
funny,
one.
you know. I'm gonna try that on stage, and she goes, please try that on stage. So now when I tried it on stage, man, it killed, and I was like, oh, this is great. And I showed them the video. I'm like, dude, that joke that you guys helped me write, like, look, it's going viral. They're like, that's so awesome, because they were part of it.
Yeah.
You know? So when people say, hey, Raymond, do you go to open mics? I'm like, no, dude, like my open mics is like me just talking with people. And like, if I made them laugh, I'm like, I'm going to try that on stage. And if it works, it works. You know?
Yeah. I have a question, Raymond. So being a comedian, I feel, that's my opinion, you have to be a certain intelligence. You're very intelligent.
You hit the nail right on the head, bro.
And so you see things in a very different dynamic than a lot of most people do. But not because on my regular job, I'm always, tengo que ser serio, and that's my niche. But I'm not, I'm not a funny person. But also knowing you have to be extremely intelligent at that level. ¿Cómo le haces, or has it happened where people just don't get your joke because you saw it at another level? Does that happen?
Yeah, and people,
o sea, no agarran la onda.
Yeah, that's one of my responses when people say, this guy's not even funny. And I always comment, well, it's because my jokes are meant for smart people. So it's like, if you didn't get it, you got to read a book.
So you work on it? Like maybe if you liked it so far, well, maybe if I dumb it down a little bit, pa que agarren la onda.
That was me before.
Oh,
okay. Before, my jokes were so bottom tier, like level of intelligence needed to get them. And I mean, it's good to get the fan base and the masses and stuff, but eventually when you start growing and start like actually like doing real stuff, and there's actual like a lot of studies, psychological studies that say comedians are significantly smarter than the average person.
Yeah, they are, because
you have to word all this stuff in a proper way. And man, I've done research into laughter. Like there's actual medical benefits of laughing. And so I take my craft real seriously. Like I've taken the classes. The medical benefits of laughter is an actual medical course in college. And I took a psychology. It's like it was taught by a doctor in psychology, and he's talking about the medical benefits of laughter. And one of the questions that they ask your kid, like when they're asking him if he's going to be in the gifted and talented program, one of the questions is, does your kid have the ability to make others laugh? And if you have the ability to make others laugh, it's a sign or a signal of a higher intelligence.
Right.
So whenever I had like the dumbed down jokes, that was me, like the old me. But that now it's like, again, I tell the jokes that I want to tell because I want to laugh at them.
Right.
And if you don't get them, dude.
Yeah, because I think what you have to do, the intelligence of a comedian, or in your perspective, it is perspective.
Yeah.
It's how you interpret it.
Yeah.
And most people, we don't have that. We don't see it like that. But, you can find the laughter in something, que is not funny at all. And that's talent, man.
That's George Carlin had an equation that said tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Okay, yeah.
So there's times where I make jokes about really sad situations. There was this time that I was visiting my grandpa in the hospital, and I make a joke about it. And it's because, and there's times that I make jokes about my dad, like not being there in my childhood. But it's like I'm expressing myself to kind of give myself like therapy at that point,
like a release.
A release, exactly. And so those are, to me, like I do this joke about it's actually on my YouTube channel about me visiting my grandpa in the hospital, and after leaving, I get on the road because I have to go do a show in I think like San Antonio or something like that, and there's this little person at the intersection asking for money, and it's on my YouTube channel. It's like if you want to check it out, it's super funny. It says, I threw a fistful of change at a little person. That's the title of it. Like, not clickbait, true story.
Yeah, okay.
And it did actually happen. Like, there was a little person at the intersection asking for money, and I was there at the intersection ready to give him like a fistful of change, and then the light turned green, but they were still at the intersection at the little person. Throw it, and I'm just like, oh, and I just like, should I? And I was like, yeah, and I just threw it, and I'm like, immediately. As soon as I let it go, I knew it was the wrong decision. I'm like, I should not have thrown that change at this little person.
Yeah,
and
la van a atropellar.
See, yeah, but it was, and it's a fun. It's got tons of views on my YouTube channel.
Right.
And but it's one of those things that I took a real life situation, I turned it into a joke because I needed, like, as soon as I threw that change, I felt really bad. Like, I felt. And I even say it in the joke, I felt like the bottom of a dog turd. Like, I felt so terrible that I did that. But after making it into a joke, it became like a therapy, a release for me. I was like, all right. Something funny. And you know what's great about it is that material is authentic.
Right.
There's nobody that can take that joke from me. There's nobody that can be like, oh, that's my joke. No, wait. I've lived this.
Okay.
There's no, and that for me in comedy, originality is the peak of like the most quintessential thing, that if you have an original joke that nobody else can do, that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. So going back a little bit, I'm curious about this, Raymond. Who does Raymond watch? Who's your favorite comedian? Like,
good question.
Like, you know what I mean? Cuando you're just chilling out and you're just being you.
Yeah.
You don't have an audience, or, whatever you do to relax, or whatever that is. Pero do you watch comedy? Do you have a favorite comedian, or
man?
What's up with that?
People ask me, who's your favorite comedian? I tell them, do you want the truth or do you want the humble answer?
No. I would like the truth.
No,
but like, maybe you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's like watching other comedians gives me massive anxiety, bro. But because I become real analytical about what they're doing. So for a comedian to take me out of the role of being a comedian and just make me a fan of comedy is está cabrón. Because immediately, as soon as I see them do something, I'm just like, nah, but wait, you're doing this, or no, you're doing this. Like, there's little things that comedians do.
You catch on the mistakes and all that, right?
I
get it.
And I'll give you some insider information. Like, whenever a comedian sits on a bar stool, and I'm not talking about like Dave Chappelle has earned it. Okay. Yeah. Like, Dave Chappelle go up there and tell like badass stories on a bar stool. He's earned it. That's Dave Chappelle. He's like the greatest of all time guy. But when you're a new guy and you're sitting on a bar stool, me cae en el mero, like, me cae bien gacho ese jale, güey. Because, and another pass that I'll give is like, if you're old, like if you're a real old man, like there's another man that goes up on stage, he's a very good friend of mine, Andy Huggins, Texas legend. He was one of the original Texas Outlaws of comedy. He's like 78, 80 years old. The old man has earned the right to sit on a bar stool. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a young guy, you got healthy ass legs, sitting on a bar stool, for me, it's like, you're lazy.
So why are they doing it? Nomás para sentarse?
Just to be like, they're trying to look cool. They're trying to think that,
okay.
And for me, it's like, hey, wait, it's called stand-up comedy. You're not even doing half of the job, right? Stand up.
I get it.
Dude, yo tengo gout. Like, my knees are all stiff and stuff. I can stand up for a whole hour and do a show.
That's good to know.
You should be able to do stand up. And there's people that'll go up on stage and sit on a bar stool, and that's their whole show. They're sitting on a bar stool. No le dices nada de show a la gente, güey.
So if you don't have like a favorite comedian,
I do like my favorite comedians. Like, I would say, you ever heard of Pablo Francisco?
No, I'll be honest with you.
Fantastic.
I need to look him up.
Super funny guy, and I've worked with him before.
We can find him later.
You should look up Pablo Francisco, and my favorite bit of all time is Little Tortilla Boy. And what he does is, you remember the guy that would do the movie trailers?
Yeah,
like the voice. This summer.
Yeah,
the movie trailers. Yeah, he does that voice.
Really,
talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger selling tortillas. Like he makes a movie about Arnold Schwarzenegger selling tortillas. It's one of the funniest bits.
Okay. And
he does this whole bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger being this action movie where he's like undercover selling tortillas, like just trying to be like special agent shit. And he's one of the funniest guys. I've worked with him before. And dude, like, I worked with him in McAllen, And lo hice upstage en gacho, güey.
Really?
And it was one of the moments that for me were like, when I got off stage, he was like, bro, what the hell was that? Like, damn, you killed it. You're going to make my ass work tonight. And I was like, man, I knew that. I knew right then and there that I was like, I'm not just like a regular guy at this stuff, you know?
No.
Like I've been working with all the you know what was crazy is that when I really considered that que la hice chingón is when my parents saw me open up for Paul Rodriguez, and to them Paul Rodriguez was like the peak.
Yeah, I remember. That was back in the 80s, no?
Sí, pero yeah, when he was killing it, he was like 80s, 90s, and he came down. I worked with him several times, probably like 8 or 9 times, and but one time my parents went out to the show and I invited them to go see it, and Billy, I made it real hard on Paul. Like I did 30 minutes before him, bro. I got a standing ovation. He told Bill, and he comes up on stage like, man, that guy was really good. Like, and my parents saw me upstage Paul Gacho, and afterwards he was a real good sport about it. Like, you know Nano Ramirez, the promoter.
Yes.
Okay, so Nano told him like, hey man, because Paul was supposed to be on his retirement tour, and Nano tells him, hey Paul, you should take this guy on the road with you, man. Like you're retiring, but think about it. You could be passing the torch and say, you know, I'm retiring, but check out this young Hispanic talent, man. This is what we have coming up. This guy, you should check him out. And Paul goes, man, that would make me look like a real good guy. And he tells Nano, he's like, but you wouldn't be the one having to follow him. I have to follow his ass every night and make my ass. I'm trying to retire. So I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, he was trying to finish off strong.
And he goes, don't take this as a compliment, kid. I can't take you on the road with me. You'd make my ass work every night. I'm not trying to work my ass off. I'm trying to just make some money so I can just chill. Yeah. And I go, no, I take that as a compliment all day. And to this day, we're real good friends and he respects me highly. I worked with all those dudes like Felipe Esparza, all the Latin kings of comedy, menos George Lopez. I haven't worked with him porque he's heard through the grapevine que le como el lunch, like I'll eat his lunch, dog. Pero Felipe Esparza, Joey Medina, Alex Raimundo, Cheech and Chong, all the top Mexican comedians that you could think of. I've worked with those guys. I have their respect. Willie Barcena, I worked with that guy too. Willie Barcena says that I'm like one of the, he says, there's only 5 people that I can count that have really made my ass work, and you're one of them. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, dog, like, no, con madre, pero Pablo Francisco is one of the ones that when I met him, I was like, dude, I'm like, it was an honor to work with him. Yeah. But then to see me like go up on stage and light it up, so much so that he was like, dude, you're going to make my ass work tonight. I was like, wow, he's one of my favorites. Another one that I really learned a lot from when I was a kid was John Leguizamo.
Oh yeah.
When he did his one-man show on HBO, where he was doing all the voices of his family and stuff like that, that's where I kind of like picked up a lot of my comedy influence. Like I started learning how to do voices, learning how to do different like mannerisms and acting it out. And I didn't know he was doing a one-man show. I just thought that's what comedy is, you know? But it's actually like a one-man play that the guy was doing, and he was like acting it out and stuff. But I just thought this is what comedy is. So if you see my style, it emulates that a lot. But Robin Williams también and Jim Carrey-ish. And then Pablo Francisco are probably like the John Leguizamo, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, and Pablo Francisco are probably like, if you were to say like who are your top influences, it'd be those guys.
Do you feel that maybe a lot of those famous artists and comedians went through what they were proposing to you to do back in Hollywood?
They have. A lot of them have. And I mean, they take the cabron. Wow. And they take the roles sometimes, you know, like they'll take the roles because, I mean, for me, like, I don't want to be, que digas tú, like, I don't want to be considered a sellout. But people still call me a sellout because I became a Republican.
But they don't understand.
But they don't understand. I'm like, dude, I'm not. I would be a sellout if I was involved in that stuff.
Well, I'm happy you didn't, and I'm very proud of you. That
my butthole is too.
Yeah. So let's back it up a little bit. I'm very curious. You originally, because you've made jokes, eres de La Jolla.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate from La Jolla?
2004, homecoming king.
2004. So tell me a little bit about bringing, being raised in La Jolla, in a small town like La Jolla. And I'm not, like, se está formando, Raymond Orta going to school in La Jolla, the influence.
Great question.
Yeah, because, I'm very familiar with La Jolla. I have family there.
Really?
I worked for there in the area for many years.
Do you have any people that teach or instruct? Really?
Yes, I have a lot of family that works there.
This is a really
small world.
Really interesting part of the upbringing, because there was another English teacher in my high school. Déjame te cuento this. I've been doing talent shows this whole time, right?
Right.
But my 9th grade talent show is something that could be made into a movie. Right? Because it could be definitely a Disney movie out of this moment, because it was super funny. And it was the first time that I ever got paid to do comedy, because they were doing a talent show and the winner got $100. Yes. Second place got, I think, 75. And then third place got 50. Right?
That was a lot more money back then.
Bro, for real. And then I'm in 9th grade, I'm like 15 years old, right? So I'm thinking, dude, I got to do this talent show. And it's in front of all the student body, the ninth graders in the gym. And I go up and we're like backstage. Everybody's getting ready. There's a band. Yeah. There's a couple of singers. The dance team, the Julettes are participating and stuff like that. And the Julettes are kind of like talking crap, like Mean Girls style. And they're like, "You really think you're going to win with your little stupid jokes?" And I'm like, well, even if you guys win, there's 12 of you. And it's $100 for the prize is $100, not each, but like $100 a total. You're going to have to divide it by 12. That's like $8. You're going to, you're going to get a Whataburger out of it? Like, oh, if I win, it's $100 for me, by myself. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, whatever. Your little jokes, you're not going to do it. No way. So I go on stage and I start going up on stage and I start making fun of the security guards. And I could do all their voices way. So
yeah, los conocías.
Oh yeah, and it was essentially me telling the things that we would talk about in the playground, but on stage. And we had this one security guard que tenía unas ojeras chingononas.
And doing like impressions of him.
Yeah, and he had a voice that sounded like this. Hey, you better get on the grass. You better get on the grass, hombre. Get on the grass, hombre. And they would never let us step on the grass. So I would be like, this guy was just always telling us, you better get on the grass. Get on the grass. Está bueno, hombre. Está bueno. There's not even any grass here. Well, it's because you don't let it grow. You don't let it grow because you're always stepping on it.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing that, everybody started laughing gacho because I was impersonating him. Like, man, if you knew this guy, you'd be like, dude, that's the greatest impression ever. And then our principal, Mr. Cuevas, Mr. Cuevas had a voice. He had a voice that sounded like this. So I go, and his motto was, y'all get to class. You better get to class now. Get to class. So we had one guy going, get on the grass. And this guy going, get to class. You better get on the grass and get to class. So I started impersonating both of them. Y nombre, the whole gym is losing it, bro. Like all the kids I'm making fun of the people in charge, bro. Like the security guards y todo el pedo. Pues en eso, güey. And they radio the security guards that were at the gym. They radio the guy. Hey, güey, ven pa acá, güey. Este vato te está chingando gacho. So in the middle of me doing comedy on the gym floor, the security guard that I'd been talking about comes into and I had just finished a joke, so everybody was laughing, and then like the door just and it's
at the perfect time.
At the perfect time, like the timing couldn't have been any better. It was brilliant. It was perfectly timed, way. It was so brilliant that the steel door of the gym opens up y se oye bien. Y ahí está el pinche Garfield, like he's there looking at us, and bro, the whole crowd looks at the door, and they look back at me like, oh, this guy got busted. And then I look at him and I go, hey, sir. And I'm in the middle of the dance of the gym floor. I go, there's no grass here, way. And they were like, no, there's no grass. And I go, there's no grass here. And then at that point, they had called the principal over también.
Yeah.
And like, hey, bro, come and check this out. This guy's
killing it.
Gacho. So as soon as I'm getting a big ass laugh from the security guard pop. Yeah. The principal walks in again where he opens the door. Yeah. I thought pinche principal. And everyone's like, oh. And I look at everybody go, well, I guess that's my cue to get back to class. And all the way the place went nuts, bro. And I just ended it like that, bro. It was perfect. Wow. It was perfectly timed. No, I won there was no beating that. There was the whole place was right. There's I got a newspaper clip of it that shows like, hey, the they wrote it in the Progreso Times, the school newspaper. And I got that clip like saved, bro. And it shows me as a 9th grader on stage. And it was like, it was me winning that talent show, $100. And for me, that was like, man, in my head, I'm like, dude, I got $100 for 5 minutes of comedy. And I immediately started thinking, like, if I can do 5 minutes of comedy in blocks like this and just put clean comedy and do 5-minute increments and fill up a whole hour, I can make $100 for every 5 minutes.
Right.
That's $1,200. That's $1,200 for an hour.
You saw the dollar signs.
That's how my mind was thinking as a 15-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I was the class clown. Fíjate, this is when you're asking me about like how La Jolla raised me to be a comedian.
Yeah.
So in that time frame, there was an English teacher, and I was a real cagapalo in her class. Pero the one thing that I say, like, you can be a cagapalo as long as your grades are up here. You know, I wasn't one of those que era cagapalo and le valía madre de los grades. No, my mom would kill my ass. You know, yo era straight A student. So if the teacher ever complained, my mom always had that to fall back and, well, what are his grades like? He has perfect attendance.
No te dabas lugar.
Yeah, they didn't give him any room to like actually really be mad at me. And so like my grades were always top notch. Pero this English teacher, and if there's any educators watching, this is extremely important. I think this is the most important thing that this teacher ever did for me was she knew I was getting like perfect scores, like 98s, 105s. I would do the bonus questions, get them right también.
Wow.
And she said, Raymond, I know you're doing a half-ass job. I know you're doing a half-ass. And she took me outside. She took me outside of her classroom and she goes, I know you're doing a half-ass job and you're okay with it. You know, you're okay with doing a half-ass job because it's better than all your classmates. Pero you're not even giving me 100%. And what's crazy is that out of you not giving your 100%, the only person that you're cheating is yourself because you don't even know what you're made of. You don't know what your 100% is like. And she was right. 100%. She was 100. She was totally right. She broke me down con madre in a way where I was like, dude, she's calling me out. And she goes, you know what? If you do this and you give me 100% effort, I want to see what your 100% effort is like. And you help other people around you understand the material the way you do. At the end of the class, whatever time period is left, I'll let you go up in front of the class and tell jokes. For me, dude, that was the best.
Right.
That was the best, bro. Because now, and she goes, but as long as the jokes are clean and appropriate for the classroom setting.
Rated G.
I don't want you going up there and talking mañoso stuff. They have to be clean. Right. Which is the most challenging comedy to write. Right. Clean comedy is actually the hardest form of comedy. So she made me work real hard, and I was teaching the kids like everything that I knew. I was showing them so that everybody could finish their work. And every day, dude, at the end of the class, I'd go up there and do like 5-10 minutes of jokes. So this lady, and this is in front of La Jolla kids, bro. La Jolla sophomores and juniors.
That's a different crowd.
Puros cagaleros, güey. Like they don't care.
Yeah, you know La Jolla.
Yeah, so it was a tough crowd, one of the toughest crowds, and I'm having to entertain these guys. Y los traigo el puro pedo, like coming up with new jokes and stuff like that. So then this lady is in the teacher's lounge and she's hearing these teachers like, I'm this fucking kid, like Raymond's just a handful and all that stuff. And she goes, and Raymond's been great in my class. And she's like, everyone's like, what do you mean he's been great in your class? Hombre, I made a deal with him that every time that he helps other people finish their work and turn in their assignments, whatever time is left at the end of the class, I let him go up in front of the class and tell jokes. And everybody's just like, are you serious? Yeah. So now all the other teachers that I had after her class, they started giving me the same deal. So I was doing comedy 3-4 times a day, multiple times.
And they got a tutor out of it.
Yeah. And I was learning the material myself more.
Yeah.
Because I was having to show it to them and then doing comedy in front of them. So the teachers would be laughing and like having a good time the last 10 minutes of class.
Yeah.
And it would force me to write more jokes because they didn't want to hear the same jokes again. Yeah. It's just the class has already heard that joke, you know? So I was always constantly writing. Fíjate, this is where it gets crazier too. After that, the principal found out that I was doing like entertaining the students, and they said, man, you know what, Raymond, you want to host the pep rallies. And you're talking about in front of the whole high school, que era like at that time, 4,000 to 5,000 kids for these pep rallies.
School, yeah.
Big, this was before they split it up.
Yeah.
So we had like My graduating class was 1,120.
Wow.
So imagine that like times 4. That's like close to 5,000 kids.
Yeah, it's a humongous high school back then. I remember.
It was monstrous. So I'm having to be in front of these kids at the gym, hosting this prep rallies, and I learned how to do crowd control. I learned how to do comedy on the fly, improving and keeping the
you were
show
practicing
going.
your skill. You didn't even know it, right?
Yeah,
but you were.
And I was in like heaven right there, bro, because it was like, dude, this is great. And becoming the most popular kid, porque like I was the guy, the face that ran the place. You know, it's like in the pep rallies, I was the dude that was hyping everybody up, doing commentary, tolpeo. Well, during that time, one of my best friend, Jonathan, his dad owned a bar in Peñitas. And after school, we would go and bust tables at his place. And that little bar is still there, Don Chilo's Bar and Grill in Peñitas, Texas. Y es pinche little dive bar, little cantina, güey. Well, Don Chilo, his dad was a Tejano artist. And he's like in the Hall of Fame. He was a lead singer of a band, Cecilio Garza y los Casinos.
Okay.
So he made that bar kind of like to try to retire and have a place to jam out with his friends.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to go on the road all the time. So he made that bar kind of like as a hangout spot for him and his friends to jam out and stuff like that. And we'd go and clean up tables, and he'd give us like $5-10 at the end of the night. And we were happy with that. Was one time my friend and I are back there and we're bussing tables. We had already finished, and the band had set up their PA because they were going to jam out that night. And my friend goes, "Hey, wait, go on stage and tell some jokes." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, go ahead." And I start going up on stage and telling some jokes and doing some voices. And I stayed up on stage for like 45 minutes and just goofing around, dude. And everybody at the bar is laughing like, man, this guy's funny. And at the end of the night, his dad goes up to me and he gives me $50. And I go, "Hey, Tio, like you paid me too much. Like I thought he was just going to pay me for bussing tables." He goes, no. Hey, you went on stage, because you got to understand he's an artist too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He goes, "You went on stage." And I go, "Well, yeah, I was just goofing around." He's like, no. Hey, if you practice on that, you'll make a lot more money doing that than bussing tables.
Yeah, of course.
And he goes, "You know what? I'm going to give you $50 here." And every Friday, because people would, before the football games, they would go to his bar.
Yeah.
Pegaban little happy hour time y luego le iban pa los football games todos toasty, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
So from 5 to 7, they'd be there. They would have a little crowd there. He goes, "Every home game that we have, you can come over here and do comedy and I'll give you $50. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like 15, 16 years old, bro.
Wow.
For me, that was like, "Oh, are you serious?" No, con madre, güey.
Yeah. You won the lotto?
Yeah. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Just keep on working on it and keep on coming over here and you can, that's your stage."
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm real good friends with him. My friend Jonathan and Don Chilo, they're still dear friends of mine. And I owe him a big time for my career, because he gave me a stage when I wasn't even old enough to go into bars. El vato has me on a stage at his bar performing for his friends, cantineros. And I'm talking about, this is a cantina, güey.
Yeah.
This is not like a lounge or like a place that's made for comedy. This is a cantina where there's señores and pinche pedo, like, hey. So you have a tough crowd.
Y luego, ¿dónde en Peñitas?
Sí, güey.
Peñitas, it's a suburb de La Joya. It's another, so I'm familiar with it.
Sí, güey. So having to deal with those types of people at a young age, now it's like I was already being trained and forged for the comedy that I was going to be doing.
So during this time, Raymond, ¿cómo le hacías, like, or maybe even now, to keep your comedy fresh? I mean, how do you write it down? You know, are you asleep? Do you get these jokes in your dreams, or what's the process? Is there a process?
I used to write stuff down, but I haven't written stuff, like written stuff down. I wrote like a few bullet points the other day, last month. And I got new notebooks and everything, thinking, I'm going to start writing my jokes down. Pero everything's in my head, bro. Like everything's, tengo un super brain, like a super computer. And I'm so thankful every day. I give thanks to the Lord for my brain, because it's like a supercomputer. I can pull out jokes that I wrote. As a matter of fact, I did this the other day. I pulled out a joke that I wrote back in high school, because I had to do a clean show for a church. Y estoy pensando, man, what jokes am I gonna do? Like I have to do a squeaky clean jokes.
Yeah.
No
Rated
G, rated G, puro like
puro Bambi.
Yeah, puro clean jokes. And I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to bust out these jokes that I wrote back as a freshman in high school. Bro, I performed them like I had never lost a step on them.
Wow.
But it's because my brain holds them all. Like now whenever I want to write new jokes, my style of writing is whenever I go on stage, if I want to try something, I'll try it on stage.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll go back to a joke that I know is going to crush.
But don't you document and write them just for, because there's a lot of comedians out there, and I've seen it nationally, where I've seen some comedians get after other comedians that they stole their material.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen to you. You've never like copyright them, or because they're your style. You don't think you should do that?
I have
defend yourself down the road.
That's a great question too, man. I was, and this happens quite often to me too. Like my jokes and my taglines and my punchlines will kind of get borrowed by people, and I'm just like, estos vatos, like man. Why
so it's happening to you already.
It's happened to me for years, but whenever it happens, I look at myself. I'm like, well, it's your job to be funnier. Okay, well, I have to go up on stage and be funnier. If you took one of my punchlines or whatever, I'm not gonna be over here like, hey, bro, you took my joke. It's just my job to come up with better stuff.
Yeah.
And now my jokes are that's why I incorporate a lot of impressions, a lot of sound effects, and a lot of different aspects to the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to take my joke, it's gonna take you to be super talented.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take my joke, you're gonna have to be able to do voices. You're gonna have to be able to beatbox. You're gonna have to be able to do sound effects in order to properly do the joke justice.
Were some of these people your friends, or?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. This happens to this day. Like the friends of mine will they'll be doing bad, and they'll be like, oh, they'll just start saying like little, not necessarily taking my jokes.
Stuff.
They borrow my punchline, or borrow a tagline, como like the word chorizo de San Manuel. I find it funny. Like chorizo de San Manuel.
Yeah, it is kind of.
That's
funny.
just a funny word by itself. So, and I have a joke about that, like in my show, talking about whenever you go home tonight, after this show, le vas a dar todo el chorizo de San Manuel. Like, that's just funny to me. It's just, I find that funny. Pero then you'll see other comedians say that.
Yeah.
And then now, since because they went on stage and said chorizo de San Manuel, I can't use that in my show now for that night because this guy used it before me. Yeah. And I'm like, pues chingado. Like, pero
they've never pissed you off where they kind of crossed the line?
No way. Like, I used to be the real into the rules and stuff. And I don't have time for the drama, dude. I don't care. It's just, I'm going to go up on stage and I'm going to do better.
So what's your opinion on the big national ones that sí se pelean? You've seen it, the drama.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say their names or that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is no, well, I'm having
Mencia's the
Carlos Mencia. There you go. That he was being accused of stealing the jokes from the other comedian.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is, if you have time to argue with somebody that they took your joke or whatever, bro, it's you really. And when you said copyright earlier, you can copyright and stuff, but in the scheme of comedy, you really can't sue anybody. Unless you have it really, really, really documented that it's and by copywriting, you have to put it into the Library of Congress. And I don't have that kind of time. Yeah. I don't have that kind of time to be writing out everything. And it's making sure everything's okay, let me submit this to be copyrighted. Bro, I don't have that type of.
So do you think when he did that to Carlos Mencia, it ruined his.
Bro, the guy, did it ruin his career? It brought it down a notch, but the guy's still selling out comedy clubs and theaters everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's still getting paid. Y el vato, as much as people hate on him, they're still buying tickets to his show. And that's the way, at the end of the day, if you're selling tickets, that's all that matters. Okay. You know what I'm saying? There's people that'll go to his shows and the guy does 2 hours of performing and you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, he's still successful.
He's still successful.
But I'm not a comedian. In your eyes, you're a professional comedian. I was just curious, do you think that affected him or not?
It did. It did. It for sure, it affected him.
Yeah, because I still see him. He's kind of relevant. But I don't see him, doing movies or anything like that.
And for me, it's I don't have that type of and I know, dude, man, several comedians will say, oh, well, this guy took my joke and that I did back in 1997. I was like, hey, wait.
No se vale, it's,
what I'm saying? Like, bro, if you're still keeping tracks of your jokes from 1997, it's like, that's 28 years ago.
That's true.
Why are you still hanging on to that joke? You haven't written anything new, that you're still bothered by this guy doing your jokes at this shady bar or this random open mic that they're like, oh, but there has been times where, like this real famous comedian, I won't do it because I don't want to like bring him down or nothing, because he's really up and up right now. But this really famous comedian took one of my friend's jokes, and my friend had worked with him like a few weeks before, and then like a few weeks later, this real famous guy right now put out that joke that my friend says as a reel on Facebook.
Wow.
And it went viral. And he goes, bro, that's my joke. And I heard him say it. I heard my friend say it. And then when I heard it, I was like, man, that sounds real familiar. And then he comes up to me and goes, hey man, did you hear this guy use that joke on his social media? I go, that's where I've heard it, bro. I just saw that video just a couple of days ago. And he goes, bro, he took my joke. And I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah, man. Like, I worked with him a few weeks ago, and he took that joke and he just put it out as social media. Like, y el pedo es, güey, like when he confronted him about it, he goes, oh yeah, I don't even use that joke anymore. Well, see, way, like you just put it out on social media. Everybody sees that as yours now. And then now this guy, and that was one of my friend's closing jokes. Like, that was one of his best jokes. And you just took his closing joke and just put it out as social media fodder for you to gain more fans. But now this guy, every time my friend tells the jokes, he's seen as the joke thief because they saw it on your social media, and it's been his joke this entire time.
Right.
So in that aspect, it can hurt a comedian.
Yeah.
But my friend that got his joke stolen, he's young in the game. Yeah. So it's not like somebody like me. I got like 9 hours of material. I can adapt and move around. Yeah. This guy only has 45 minutes of material. Yeah. Taking a big bit of his is like, shit, man. You took his legs out of him. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, it can hurt somebody. And this guy used it to just get chingos of clout off of that joke, and then he just threw it away. He doesn't even use it on stage anymore. Right. It's like, pues, ta cabrón, güey. Like that's a different story,
Yeah, I get it, Raymond. Let me ask you a couple other questions.
Yeah.
If you're getting a feel for me as well, it's that I'm very progressive. I like people working hard, and I care about being from South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, for our people. And I like to ask my other guests, right, when they're here, do you have any suggestions, or what are your thoughts for the future Raymond Ortas out there that nobody knows about? If that person was here in front of you, that young, male or female, being from the Valley, do you have any maybe advice? Sabes que no le hagas así or whatever, any type of advice? Is there opportunity for new type of comedians being from our region?
Yeah.
Because our comedy here is very unique.
Very unique. We have a total unique culture, man.
Yeah, a joke that you're going to say here is not going to work in Michigan or Chicago or New York City or whatever. They don't get it.
I have jokes that are just for the Valley. Like I have jokes, whenever I perform in the Valley, I perform my Valley jokes. But whenever I go out of town, I have abandon all of that.
Okay.
Pero the people that are down here, like, there's such a rich culture down here. I really truly love it. Like, there's no going around it. But the people that are down here, they immediately see that if you're not funnier than that primo of yours at the barbecue, they'll really feel the pressure. Of people like not supporting them. Dude, that pressure is so hard to deal with. That's why you have a lot of young comedians. Our comedy community down here, we would have like really good comedians, and then all of a sudden they're moving to Austin, or they're moving to San Antonio, or they're moving to LA. We've had a bunch of them, and they've done really good for themselves out there. But when they come back to the Valley, no pegan. Why? Because the Valley no perdona a nadie.
Yeah, it's a tough environment.
The Valley no perdona a nadie.
But I don't think it's just in your industry. I think in any industry.
Any industry, bro.
We're very pretty tough on each other, man.
Big time. But through that, as the old saying goes, iron sharpens iron. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? By being down here, I have because of that like harshness, because of that like a ver qué traes. There's a difference between going to shows like we used to have this comedy club down here, or not even a comedy club. There's a bar that would let us do comedy on Tuesdays, there in Westlaco called Paradise Roadhouse. It became
I remember.
It became the Tipsy Monkey now.
Yeah.
Pero ese lugar, güey, you would have the hardest comedy room in the country. And I've been all over the country. This was the hardest comedy room, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had three main components of the audience being the Bandidos motorcycle gang,
Mm-hmm.
the cartel, and the Vayuco Cholos.
Yeah.
All there.
Yeah, but there's no gang members in the Valley, bro. No gang members.
Nada de eso. Pero
Aquí todos puros street shooters aquí en el Valle.
Está todo calmado. But you had those three main audience groups, and they don't want to laugh because they think laughing is weakness.
Yeah,
so you have them looking at each other like, a ver si se va a reír este güey. So now you have to make these dudes laugh.
Yeah.
And if they don't laugh, like they don't want to laugh. They're looking at you like, a ver qué traes, a ver qué traes. Whereas if you go to other comedy clubs, they pay for the tickets. They're all ready to laugh.
Yeah.
So having to deal with that.
Es otra onda.
It's otra onda, güey. Like it's so much easier. It's so much easier, bro. So it becomes so much easier because I was raised in that. Tuesday nights at Paradise Roadhouse was my open mic. That's where I would try out new jokes. And if I knew that if it did good at Paradise Roadhouse, I could take that joke anywhere else and it would kill.
Yeah. So going back to the question, though, Raymond, is there a chance? Is there opportunity for upcoming new talent?
Yeah,
you know?
Pero tienes que tener callo, güey. Like you have to have a tough skin.
So, what other advice do you have for anybody trying to come up?
So anybody that's trying to come up, the advice that I would give them is if you're nervous about going up on stage and being criticized, my best piece of advice is do all your jokes on social media. Do all your jokes on TikTok. Go into your car and just vent and rant. And if one of those goes viral, ya chingates. If you're scared of going on stage and telling open mic jokes or whatever, just do it on TikTok, go live on Facebook, go live on Instagram.
Yeah.
And do all your material there. That way, like you said earlier, you have it documented.
Yeah.
And B, if it goes viral, you start raising your fan base, which is what clubs are looking for nowadays. Like, hey, how big of a following does this guy have?
Yeah.
It's social media has become the great equalizer. It used to be back when I was coming up, I would say, man, I'm going to get really good. I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to become a staple in LA. And then they're going to see me and they're going to want to put me on a sitcom.
Yeah.
But nowadays, who watches TV?
Nobody.
Like, not really a lot of people. Like,
no,
yeah.
Not even my kids watch TV.
Yeah.
They're always on their phone.
They're on their phone. That's the key. If you become a star on the phone,
yeah,
that's where you got to make it. So social media has become the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Not only do you have the opportunity to get into comedy clubs now with social media, but now if you get monetized on social media, now they're paying you for all the comments that you're getting.
Yeah, Raymond, but have you encountered the stereotypes or the racism when you go out there, go beyond the Valley, even because San Antonio, they're pretty acceptable to us todavía, ¿verdad? But once you start maybe even getting out of Texas, because, I've traveled a lot and I've experienced a lot of racism and in my own way, but you as a comedian, they try to, no te dan chance or whatever. What's been your experience with that?
I've experienced, I don't know if you would call it racism, but somebody told me that the reason that I haven't hit it like real big time is because I speak too much Spanish in my show. And I need to just make myself 100% English. And I tried that for years. I was living in San Antonio for like maybe 2-3 years. And I did a fully English show. Was it good? Yeah. But was it authentic? Nah. And then,
but did it hit?
It hit, but it wasn't really
at the level
that I wanted it to hit. Like it would hit because it was funny, but it wasn't really que pegue con madre bien sabroso a las costillas real good. You know what I'm saying? And then I was trying that for years and years and doing different mics, different shows, winning contests over there, and nothing ever came from any of that stuff. The one thing that really took traction and took off was when I was on Facebook after the Cowboys lost on Thanksgiving when Tony Romo broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
And I just did a video of me me saying all the things that my family was saying at the game. Like we were watching the game on Thanksgiving. We were there at my mom's house and all my tios were there and they were all yelling and stuff. That I was like, se lastimó Tony Romo, chinga. All the stuff that they said.
Yeah.
I essentially just made a skit out of it.
Yeah.
And I was just me being myself.
Right.
Like me doing the Spanglish, me being like Tejano, me being the person that I am. And that went viral, bro. It got millions and millions of views. To this day, I'm still selling tickets because of that one video.
Okay.
And people go to that show because, hey, bro, I've been following you since the Prende la Vela.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, really? Like, bro, like, and the thing is, if you've been following me since the Prende la Vela thing, you've really caught me. Like, I had already been doing comedy for years and years and years and years. But people will barely think that that's my beginning of my career because that's when they first saw me.
Yeah.
Pero, bro, I had already put out chingos of badass, really good stuff on YouTube before that. Pero ese es el que pegó. I had already put out like one of the big things that I had put out was translating corridos into English.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put on YouTube Tragos Amargos.
I remember those.
Yeah, Tragos Amargos made into English into a country song. And I would think, no, that's gonna get millions of views. No.
Mm-hmm.
Now very, very, I mean, it got a couple of tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 views. But I thought it was gonna go super mega viral.
Yeah.
And then people saw the cowboy stuff and it went like, oh, no, wait, the cowboy stuff. And I'm like, cool. So now people are going to see my shows and they know what I'm about. It's not now I don't have to be like, oh, let me do this show in English because people don't speak Spanish here. No, now I have my own fan base that follows me because of who I am. And not only that, like they love it because of who I am. Now, whenever I go, I've done some of my best shows that I've done are actually out of the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done some shows in Washington State. Oh man, this guy's pretty much as far from the Valley as you can be.
Yeah, there's a lot of raza.
And there's a lot of raza there, bro. But when I went up there, it was like a breath of fresh air for them. Like, man, nobody talks like you out here.
Yeah.
Like we've been waiting for somebody like you. And it was like, les pegué con madre, güey.
So where is Raymond Orta going to pivot from now? You, like, where do you want to end up? What's your target? What's your goal? Do you kind of want to maintain what you're doing, or do you eventually want to continue to branch out and kind of brand yourself out there nationally, or stay local? I
do like we call them hidden runs, ¿verdad? Hidden runs. When I do like como comedy clubs, I'll do them for like a weekend, you know. Mm-hmm. I'll go over there, do a comedy club, do a door deal and make some money, and I'll come back. Yeah. And for me, bro, that's the best, dude.
You mean nationally, like out of state?
See, out of state, like, even if it's within the state of Texas, I can go to Dallas, I can go to Houston, I can go to San Antonio, I can go to El Paso. Like recently, I did a 2-day run in El Paso. Just give you an example. And I did 2 days, Friday and Saturday, 2 shows each day. Mm-hmm. So one show at 7:30, one show at 10. And those 2 shows that I did, or on those 4 shows, at the end of the weekend, bro, I made like $18,000. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like in 2 days to make that kind of money, bro, I can stretch $1. Yeah. Like I'm from the rancho. I'm from La Jolla. We grew up poor. We grew up super poor.
No, I get it.
So I know how to stretch a nickel into $1 real quick. So when they give me a check for $18,000, man, I could sit on that for a couple of months. Like, fácil, I could probably live on that for a whole year. Yeah. And so if I do a comedy club run this week and then another this next weekend.
Yeah, but is that what Raymond wants to do? I'm talking you personally, not the comedian. No. So kid is like, as you get older, you want to keep branding and branching out, or do you think you're going to stay static here in the Valley?
No, I consider those hidden runs good.
Yeah, like, where do you want to sunset? You know what I mean?
No, I'm already like in my spot.
Have you thought about it? I want to keep evolving.
No, I love the Valley, and I'm always evolving, and that's why I'm so happy that I got a residency at the island, and so I've been living there for 4 years, and nice. I got no bills. I got no rent. Mm-hmm. I live on the island, like at a beach resort, and I do comedy there once a week.
Yeah, so I can go crash one day.
I got a couch. And but the thing is, I have comedians that are coming down from all over the country wanting to come to the Valley.
And you put a damn good show, right?
No, bro, I take a lot of pride in it.
Me pongo con el pinche popcorn there and just enjoy your show. I've done it a couple of times and I stay at the island that night.
It's awesome. It's the best. And for me, it's like, I'd rather do that than like people think, oh, well, what do you want to do to make it big? tengo unos camaradas that have residencies in Vegas that I could easily take my residency and say, hey man, can I move to Vegas? And they would say yes. But I don't want to be in Vegas, bro. I'd spend all my money at the roulette table and stuff. I don't want to be there.
Because you're happy here.
I'm super happy here.
Yeah, the island is awesome. It's beautiful.
Bro, I live on the beach. I get to see rocket launches like every month. Like
oh, that's awesome, right?
I go to the roof of the hotel and I check out the rocket launches, like pinche primetime view. What awesome. Else? Like like what else do I want? Like in the scheme of things, what would I want to do? Like as far as like living and where would I want to be, bro? I would want either being at the beach or being at the rancho, like where I'm like just enjoying like outdoor, like where there's nobody around and
you want to live and enjoy yourself,
enjoy myself.
Yeah, I get it.
My mom has a real nice rancho in La Jolla, and I live at the beach. And anytime I want that rancho life, I just go to my mom's house.
There you go.
And I can just chill out there. And she's got a guest house for me and my wife and my family. We can stay there. She's got a pool there and stuff. Yeah. Like, so la tenemos. For me, when people say, nah, you're never going to make it, bro, I've been making it for a while now. Like I've done made it.
But
like,
you know, most people, they still have other goals that they want to achieve and they're trying to build up to it. So I'm just curious about that.
Get satisfied, bro. Every day is I'm extremely satisfied with the life that the Lord has given me every day.
Amen.
And I'm every day I wake up. Another thing, going back to the advice that I would give to young up and coming artists, don't be so fixated on the end point as you should be enjoying the journey to the end point. Man, because man, if you can have an optimistic, positive, grateful attitude every day, for the things that happen and the things that don't happen. Because sometimes that I've thought, man, I wish I was able to get this opportunity. And I think, man, if I would have been given this opportunity, I would have been killing it. But bro, like the opportunity, when I look at it and the people that got it or the people that are in that, I look at what they're doing. And I'm just like, nah, I wouldn't be enjoying it. I would be like, I'm best chingos de jale, güey. Like it's like they're on the road all the time. I'd be away from my family and all that stuff. Like I don't want.
It's como dicen, the grass is not greener on the other side.
Yes,
that's very true, right?
The grass is greener where you water it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so for me, like a prime example is my son. He was in the National Mullet Championships, right?
I saw that you had put a couple of pictures of him up there, and
and he got second. He got second in the National Mullet Championships. And el vato, like the kid that won first, he has to do all these other gigs, bro. Like he has to go to these like college football games, NASCAR events, monster.
A lot of work.
Chingos. And they got him doing appearances all over the place. That I know my son, that if he were to get that, he would be overwhelmed. Like it would be too much for him. Like he's autistic, so this the sounds of.
Is it even worth it?
Yeah, it would, for him, it's like, man, like it wouldn't have been enjoyable. If he would have won, he wouldn't have been like having a good time at these college football games. He'd be overwhelmed seeing all these, getting the noises. He wouldn't have liked that.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
4? You want to tell us a little about
Sure. I think tengo 2 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
And so for me, not only that, but like my son, my 11-year-old, his name is Epic. Okay. He goes on stage with me and tells
jokes. That's a nice name, man.
Oh, bro, I had to give him a powerful name, big time.
Yeah.
And he goes on stage with me and tells jokes. And he has his own merchandise. So he makes his own keychains that he draws, and he draws them on a big piece of paper. It's called Shrink-a-Dinks. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's like a piece of plastic paper that you put into the oven, and it shrinks and becomes like a little keychain.
Okay.
And he does a drawing on there, and he has a couple of different drawings that he does. Like he has a couple of ones. Like one of my favorite ones that he has is a little picture of a cactus.
Yeah.
And it says, "Don't be a prick, be epic." You know,
that's a good one.
Yeah. And he's very creative with it. And
¿A quién le sacó?
No, it's bro. Tiene fountain of gene pool, madre. And so he makes these little keychains. Y el chamaco, bro, he loves to sell. He's a little salesman, and I've taught him how to be a salesman and stuff like that. And this guy, he'll go up on stage and do like 2-3 minutes of jokes, and at the end he'll start saying, "Hey guys, I have these little keychains that I made myself. If you want to support me, I'll see you after the show. I'll be over there." Bro, he'll sell them all out, dude. He'll sell them all. The guy has more money in his wallet than some.
Does he ever go to your show at the?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check him out.
And anytime, he only performs whenever he wants money.
Oh,
El vato ya I need that.
Ahorita necesito feria.
Sí,
I'm good. I'm
for
good.
real. Yeah, he's like that. He's already got the leverage, and he goes,
Wow.
and
he's 11?
He's 11.
Okay.
And he goes, and here's how I know that I'm doing a good job with him, because he goes, Dad, I want to get a PS5.
Uh-huh.
And I go, well, you have the money. Like, you can use your own money to do it. And he goes, well, I don't want to spend my money on the PS5. I want to buy a 3D printer and make fidget toys and sell the fidget toys. And then from the money that I make from selling the fidget toys, I'm buy a PS5. I'm like, eso chingón.
Oh, he's a capitalist.
Así.
He's got to be a Republican.
A huevo, puro pinche republicano. And but to have that kind of mentality at a young age, this kid's already,
he's intelligent.
He's already got it. Like, he's got a real good head on his shoulders. And my little daughter, she's 7, and she sees him making money, and she's like, what can I do to make money like that? Like, and she's también like le gusta la chamba. Like after the shows at the island, we'll have her walk around with a bucket of the tip jar money.
Right.
Y le digo, hey, the more money that you collect, I'm going to give you 10% of whatever you collect. So ella de volar con los big ones. Hey, tips for the comedians.
And what's her name?
Leyenda.
Oh,
yeah. Otro powerful.
Oh, yeah. I need to call you next time I have a kid, man. Hey, come up with a good name for me.
And you know what's crazy is that my kids' names, I had to really think about them, because my other 2 kids, they're my stepkids, but I've been raising them since they were a kid. Like,
of course.
Like 4.
They become part of you.
They're mine, ¿verdad? But I didn't have a chance to name them, so they got normal names. My oldest son is Dylan, and I've raised him since he was 6, and then and my daughter Brooke. But it's like, those are normal names. But my kids that are like I had to give them some strong names. The reason I gave them strong names is because I was a bully in high school and in school, like, but because I was bullied. A mí me decían Raymond Orta. And honestly, when I was a little, like in elementary school, they would be like, pinche Raymond Orta, jamón torta. Bro, I would get pissed, dude.
Yeah.
So I would come up with rhymes for their last names.
Yeah.
And I would shoot them down and cut them down with their own names.
Right.
So now, like my wife wanted to name my son Grayson. I'm like, no mames. Like, she's like, what's wrong with the name Grayson? I'm like, you're 1 letter away from Gayson. And she's like, oh, like, I didn't even think about that. Like, come on. Like, so you got to think like a bully.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the kids in the valley no te perdonan.
Los estabas filtrando, filtering, like, no, ese no.
No, and my one of my first names for my daughter Leyenda, I was gonna name her Leona.
Okay.
Leona, like lioness, right?
Right.
And her middle name was gonna be Lamar, like Leona Lamar Orta.
Okay.
And Lamar is my mom's middle name. So I told my friend, he was a comedian, but he passed away. Que paz descanse, mi friend Larry. I go, I'm thinking about naming my daughter Leona Lamar. And he goes, what does that mean? He goes, Leona, it means lioness. And Lamar means kind of like of the ocean. And he looks at me and goes, so you're going to name your kid Sea Lion? And I go, oh, man, I can't name her. Yeah. So that's where I came up with the name Leyenda.
Yeah, nice. It's a beautiful name.
Oh, and she fits up to it too, man. Big time. And Epic también, like Epic.
Yeah, it's it's
such a powerful name.
Yeah.
But he lives up to it. And if anything ever happens to me, like they can stand on their own name and say, like, I'm Epic, yo soy leyenda. And they have to live up to it. It's chingo de pressure, but at the same time, that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, Raymond. So you were saying you were a bully, man. Let's go back a little bit here, man. Give me a snapshot of your history growing up before you were 8. How did you develop? Like you said, you got your mom, but you had a stepdad.
Yeah.
¿Y qué pasó allí that kind of maybe helped develop your character, your personality? Because they say all of us, right? We are our history that helps us shape. So what were the challenges y todo eso cuando, and it all sprinkle a little bit on top, being from La Jolla, that environment.
So my dad, my real dad, era bien bandido, güey. Real psycho. This guy was a psychotic person, okay? Like, when I say psycho, people don't understand him. This guy was like, he was psychotic. And like, when I say that, people are like, he's exaggerating. No way. Like, this guy was a freaking loose cannon, way. And because of the way that he was raised.
Right.
So in
was he originally de La Jolla también?
No, era de Roma.
Okay.
Puro
Peor.
Stark County, güey. Even worse, Garceño, güey. Oh.
And a lot of people, if they're not from the area, they don't grasp that.
Sí, no.
La persona de la Roma, Rio Grande City, allá, son kind of similar to La Jolla, but still very unique.
Pero más aggressive.
Yeah, pero no son los mismos de Harlingen.
Para nada, güey.
O los de McAllen, o aquí Mid Valley.
So my dad was from Roma, my mom was from Rio Grande, güey. Te imaginas,
Wow.
puro pinche volatility, dynamite just combining with dynamite. And
so that affected you.
sí, güey, pero
in the way how they raised you, kind of being tough y todo eso.
Gacho style. But not only that, like when my mom was when I was growing up, when I was a young kid, my dad era bien abusive, physically and verbally abusive, like gacho. Okay. And he was a big dude, bro. He was like 6 foot.
He was abusive to you?
No, to my mom.
Okay.
Like, I mean, physically, like, agarrándola, like vicious.
Yeah.
Like viciously.
So you would witness this?
I would witness this bro, big time. So seeing my mom get like beat up and stuff like that, it was, I saw this.
Pretty traumatic,
gacho.
Yeah.
And so when my mom, like, she tried to divorce him because she found him, funny ass story. She found him cheating on her.
Uh-huh.
So she divorced him. But then she would try to date other dudes. Y el vato, my dad would stalk her, bro. Mm-hmm. And he would go and like beat the shit out of these guys that she was dating. And no, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, this guy's kicking my ass. Like, I don't want anything to do. So they would break up with my mom because they couldn't handle the
stalker
dad, right? So then my mom meets my stepdad at a Grupo Más dance, right?
Wow.
And she met my stepdad and they hit it off. Y el vato, my dad wanted to challenge my stepdad to a fight.
Wow.
So my stepdad was fresh out of the army, bro, and strong like a bull, dude. This guy was a strong guy, strong. And he goes, pues cáele, acá estoy, cáele por acá. And
no se le rejó.
No, para nada, güey. My stepdad le encantaban los chingazos, güey. Like,
¿Y él era de La Jolla? Where was he?
He was from La Jolla.
Okay.
So my dad goes by cruising by. Uh-huh. And he sees my stepdad outside con una pinche muscle shirt. Dude, estaba jacked el vato, güey. Y mi dad le sacó la vuelta. He's like, no, screw that. And he just kept on driving.
No te creas, siempre no.
Yeah. So that was the first time that my mom had been protected from my dad.
Yeah.
Y so se quedó con él. She decided to stay with my stepdad, who was from La Jolla.
Right.
And we moved to we moved into his mom's house.
Yeah.
This house was like, this house was a little like a house de madera on bricks, and only one room had air condition.
Right.
And the rest of the house was así naturally caliente, like however the
Pues así se acostumbraba antes, Raymond.
For real.
You know what I mean?
And for me, that, like, because before that, my mom and I were actually homeless in her car for a couple of months, and we were living out of her car. And when we met him and moved into his parents' house, really, that house for me was like a huge upgrade.
Right.
Not only because like it was a house, but because his mom and his dad, they loved my mom. They loved her so much because she was real sweet to him. Anything that they needed, bro, she was taking them to the doctor. She was giving them like, caía mi mom con pan dulce, and like, she treated them like royalty, bro.
And did you have brothers or sisters or stepbrothers?
No, not for a long time. I was an only child for like 14 till I was 14.
Okay.
And then my mom and my stepdad had a little boy, my little brother JD.
Okay.
Pero my dad at the same time, my dad estaba esparramando cuerpo por donde quiera, güey. Like
so you have stepbrothers and sisters.
From my dad's part, I remember this one time I got into an argument with my dad. And because I had him living at this was already touring and stuff like that. But my dad had gone to jail, and when he got out, like, he said, "Hey, mijo, like, what's going on?" Like, he decided to become my driver. So he was driving me around and I'm to anybody that's watching this, forgiveness is key in life. If you don't forgive somebody, the Father in heaven doesn't forgive you.
Yeah, amen.
And it's extremely important that if you have grudges on people, you have to let it go. Not for them, for you, for yourself, for your own health,
your personal growth,
for your own personal growth. So for me, letting that stuff go, letting all that stuff go. My mom had already forgiven my dad for all the stuff that he put her through.
Yeah,
I had to do the same thing. So I had to like really just cast it off. It's like, dude, that's your past anymore. let's go on the road. And my dad for years, bro, he was my driver.
Yeah.
And
how was that? Algo como el Ricky Bobby movie, no?
yeah. It's just
Mexican version.
Super, actually, like really
¿No te
close
puso
to
un cougar en el car?
Algo así, like on that level, like my dad was the cougar in the car. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a volatile dude, bro. El vato, pero at the same time, when we were on the road, bro, I would see this man see me on stage, beaming with pride, way. Like seeing his son on stage, crushing it all over the nation, bro. We went all the way to Washington. We went all the way to California. We went through Arizona. We did all Idaho. We've done so many shows that he had seen me perform and crushing it, bro. Crushing it. That he never ever shorted me from telling me that he was proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
So he never kept that away from me. He will constantly tell me that he loved me. Like, man, like, mijo, you're kidding. And my dad era uno de esos tipos de he has no filter.
Mm-hmm.
So he would say shit that was like, man, dad, like, just stay quiet. You know, like you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind like all the time. Yeah, one time I told him like, dad, like not every breath you take has to come out with words in it. You know, say like sometimes it's okay to just take a breath and just like not say shit. You know.
Yeah.
So I got into an argument with him this one time, and I go like, dad, like I'm the only kid that you have that actually takes care of you. Like we're on the road. Like yo te estoy cuidando, te estoy comprando ropa. Like I'm taking care of your ass. What other kid of yours is actually looking out for you? What other kid is actually calling you and figuring out like what you need? How are you? Where are you at? Nadie. Nope. Not one of these kids have been looking for you. And he goes, and I asked him like, how many kids do you even have? And he looked at me and goes, mijo, no sé. I don't know. I'm like, damn, dad, for real?
How did you feel when you heard that?
I didn't know how to feel, bro. I really didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to take that. Oh, I was a grown ass man, bro. I was like 30 some years old. Like when he told me that he doesn't know how many kids he has.
Mm-hmm.
Y dije yo, man, like what's beautiful thing about my dad, que en paz descanse también, like my dad passed away shortly after my stepdad passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a powerful message too, bro. Like after my stepdad passed away, my dad passed away like 7 months later. But because my dad didn't have that empathy, no tenía nada de sympathy para nadie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't have any sympathy for anybody. El vato ese, el pinche chile parado, que pedo, que one of those types of people.
I've never met that kind.
No, down here in the pinche valle.
No existen esos aquí.
Aquí en el valle no. But when my stepdad was in the hospital, my dad was like, pues si se lo va a llevar a la chingada, se lo va a llevar a la chingada.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he's gonna die, se va a morir. And I'm like, bro, like this is my stepdad in the hospital, bro. This was the man that raised my ass while you were in jail. Like this man holds a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this man that was in the hospital at the time, he'd been raising me since I was 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
And you probably loved them.
Oh, dearly, bro. Dearly.
Yeah,
this is like, they're both my dads. Like there's no two ways around it. This man raised my ass. He taught me what it is to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that, just to see him pass away in the hospital, y luego mi dad acá, pues si lo va a llevar a la chingada, se lo va a llevar a la chingada. No care.
Yeah.
No type of like simply like chingado, mijo, I'm sorry you're going through that. Nada, güey, puros tough guy. Yeah. Right? So I feel that because mi stepdad era bien God-loving person. Like his name was David, man after God's own heart. And he took that as his own name. Like I'm after God's own heart. Like, man, he would pray all the time and stuff like that. So when you make fun of somebody that's connected to God in that way, te va a caer la wrath of God.
So Raymond, how does a person deal with that? So if I understand correctly, es como el sol y la luna. So you have two different paradigms, different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the middle. You can relate to your dad because he's your blood, but you're in love with your stepdad porque he's got empathy.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, the good thing is that there was this great saying. This is a great saying that it says, a wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from others' mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Y that saying has taken me so far in life that when I see the actions that my dad would take, and I told him this when I got to that argument that he didn't know how many kids he had. I go, man, Dad, you know what? I hope I'm never like that with my kids, where I hope that I'm never causing them as much headaches as you've caused me in this types of situations. where, porque ese vato, like, dude, I had to do a lot of smoothing over for the things that my dad would do on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's just, don't take it seriously, bro. He just doesn't, he has that type of different sense of humor from the rancho. Like, he doesn't know what's up, you know? So I would have to do a lot of like smoothing over for my dad sometimes. And, pero me costaba, you know, it would cost me a lot, like, man, both in money and like in stress and shit.
Yeah.
So I told him, like, dude, like, I hope that I'm never that type of burden on my kids. So I told him, you've taught me a lot.
Indirectly, what not to
exactly. Do. And to me, that's as good as teaching me what to do.
Yeah.
If you teach me what not to do, that's as good. I'll take that as an example of what not to do. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot because my grandpa, which is my dad's dad, he was really con madre, güey. Real buena onda. And I saw all three of them die within a year of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them all have their own deaths in the way that they deserved. Like my stepdad, when he passed away first. My mom never left his side, bro. He was in the hospital for like 2 months. She stayed there for 2 months, bro. Never left. People would take her clothes to change there and stuff like that. She never left his side, bro. Never.
Yeah.
And then like when he passed away, they were taking him to surgery, and it was like he needed to have a place to. My stepdad era bien privado.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't want you to see him in his most vulnerable state. So when he passed away, they were taking him away to surgery. Y de ahí, like they didn't even put him on the surgery table. Like he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just passed away in the bed ride from the one room to the other operating room.
Wow.
And he was gone. And they tried to resuscitate him and everything. He was gone. There was nothing they could do. But if you knew my stepdad, that's the kind of death he would want.
Yeah.
He would have wanted that death. My dad, bro, he suffered all the bad things that he did, bro. He suffered when he was dying, bro. He was in the hospital for 7 months, essentially starving to death because he had a stroke he couldn't even swallow. So they had to be feeding him through a G tube. And for 7 months, I saw my dad deteriorate and experience genuine hell on earth,
Yeah.
where he like none of his pride, like he couldn't even go to the bathroom by himself, like all of his pride had been stripped from him, 7 months that he spent in that hospital bed repenting, like really genuinely seeking the Lord because there was nowhere to go and there was nothing else that he could do. He lived 7 years of just terrible death. Y el vato, the day before he passed away, I was there with him, and I got a chance to talk to him. We talked to each other, and I told him, Dad, like, you love me, brother. And then he nodded yes. I go, and you know that I love you, right? And he nodded yes. I go, and you forgive me because I've fallen short as a son. And he goes, yeah. And I forgive you for the things that you've done as a dad. And you know that, right? And he goes, yeah. And I just want you to know that you're forgiven and you're loved by me. And I know that I'm forgiven and loved by you, right? And he goes, yes. And he goes, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That we've forgiven each other and we still love each other. And we know that you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's all that matters, right? And he goes, yes. And then I went home. They called me at like 4:16 in the morning. Hey man, your dad passed away. Nobody was there. But he brought that on himself, that the life that he lived, all the kids that he had,
so
nobody was there.
Kind of in a way, do you think karma exists?
Yes. Yeah. Because I saw it happen. My grandpa, que era con madre con todos, güey. He was one of those old school types that would go to everybody's quinceañera, everybody's wedding. He was there with a gift. Everybody's funeral. He was always cumpliendo con la gente. He was always at everybody's functions, bro.
Yeah.
When he was passing away, he was surrounded by his family. I was holding onto his hand. My grandma was holding onto his other hand. The death that he would want was given to him, but because he lived the life the right way. And my stepdad, who lived life the right way, he died alone too, but that's what he would have wanted. Yeah. My dad, who didn't live the life the right way. And when I say that my dad was a volatile character, bro, this guy was a murderer. Like, this guy killed people. This guy was granted, he changed in the later years, pero in his heyday, este vato mataba gente, güey. This guy was a freaking cartel drug mule for years, and went to prison for it and all that stuff. Like this guy was a
Casi no hay gente like that en La Joya.
No, en Roma, no.
Menos, right?
Roma, yeah. No, and so this guy, that was in my gene pool.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to not be that guy. You know
so, okay, so that's how it's changed you then.
Yeah.
Don't be that.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
And maybe polish it and improve it.
Polish it and don't think that I'm like dogging on my dad. No, there's a lot of great things that he taught me. Porque ese vato, one of the most intelligent guys.
Mm-hmm.
El vato was so smart, bro. Like street smart, prison smart level of like next level intellect. And I'll tell you how smart he was at the time. When my mom and him were together, my mom was going to school to become a nurse, and she tried real hard to get her nursing license. No, hombre, dude, like she went to school and my dad was constantly talking crap about her, like, estás bien burra, no sabes nada. What are you gonna be a nurse? Estás bien, no sabes nada.
Bien protagonist,
gacho, like just dogging her to that she wasn't gonna make it, trying to like
antagonist,
trying to be
dale contra
nomás just to be that guy, you know.
Yeah.
And when she got her license, she was like, "This is all I needed. Like that's all I needed to get away from your ass." And he goes, "Te crees bien chingona porque eres nurse? Sabes que yo voy a sacar mi nurse's license también." And dude, the guy went, grabbed the textbook, and over a weekend, güey, el vato leyó todo el pinche textbook, güey, and then took the test to become a nurse, bro. He got his nursing license, güey.
Wow.
I'm talking about this guy was really, and not only did he become a nurse and got his nursing license, he went to start working as a nurse. The guy became one of the greatest nurses. Like, not only did he just to say, yo puedo también. No, I'm going to show you how to do this job too. Like, and he became, bro, I would hear stories of these viejitos and viejitas. Ay, tú eres el hijo de Junior. Ay, mijo. No, hombre, tu papá es tan amable. And I'm just like, are you talking about the same guy?
Yeah.
That I know? And he's like, yes, your dad is so funny. He makes us laugh all the time. He was a totally different person when he was a nurse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, man. Pero that's the level of mental prowess that this guy had. Like, just to be like, no, te crees bien chingón. I'll do it en un weekend.
Yeah.
And he did it. And the guy became really amazing. And I know that he's an amazing nurse. He was an amazing nurse because my wife is a registered nurse. Y mi dad, when she was telling him about the stuff that she knew as a nurse, my dad was giving her tips and tricks, like, oh, this is how you do this. This is how you like keep track of this. And she was like, damn, like these are really good tips, like that you don't learn in your textbooks. You don't. These are like around the like how to be able to like do your job in a way that goes above and beyond without even like that it's not taught in schools. So el vato tenía una mente chingona. Not only that, pero to market too. This guy was like all about. He's the one that came up with the candles, the prende la vela candles.
Okay, he gave you that idea.
Yeah, like I was selling the sticker that said prende la vela, and he goes, "Man, mijo, you know what would be a good idea? We should stop and pick up some candles." And I go, "What?" Sí, mijo, agarramos las velas
y ponle el sticker.
Y le pones el sticker. Te puesto que se venden como pinche pan caliente.
So that's a true story. You were selling candles, prende la vela candles.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't selling the candles before. He's the one that came up with the idea.
Okay.
And he put, and I go, and for me, I was thinking, I'm like, Dad, that's a cheesy ass idea, Dad. That's a cheesy ass idea. He goes, I bet you they'll sell, mijo. I bet you they'll sell que se venden como pan caliente. Like, I won't even be able to hang on to it. And I go, ¿sabes qué? Go ahead, like stop at a store, buy some candles. A ver, buy a little box of candles, a ver cómo se venden. And pero whatever money's made, you keep it. Like, I don't like,
yeah.
Está bueno, okay. So,
yeah, dijiste.
Yeah. And he goes, and that night, I just wanted to see how it would go.
Right.
That night, bro, he bought 2 little boxes of candles. The guy sold them in like 30 seconds, dog.
Wow.
They were gone. He made like $400 in caliente. And the first guy that comes up to him, he was all mafioso, had a badass like necklace de gold and todo. He goes, oh, tiene velas de los cowboys, sir. ¿A qué tanto? And he looks at him, he goes, Tana, $20. So he was about to say 10 and he goes, $20.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, damn, bro, like, dame 4. And the guy bought four candles there, bro, for like $80 de puras candles. Y say, ya chingue. So after that, no, I'm like, hey, dad, mochate, güey. Pero dude, I've made so much money on those candles, bro. It was like todo el child support que me debía el güey. Now I made up for it with all.
Is that still a thing for you? Do you still sell those candles at so many shows? Okay.
Oh, these candles I can't even hang.
Because I haven't seen them when I went at the island.
See, I'll sell them during football season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pero se venden como, bro, I can't hang on to them. It's like printing money. I feel like the Federal Reserve sometimes. Printing money. I say,
yeah, watch out with the IRS, bro.
No, okay. I hope Trump dismantles the IRS because if Trump dismantles the IRS, I will personally put his face on Mount Rushmore with the money that I owe the IRS.
Okay, what's your interpretation? Everything that's happening with SpaceX and Elon Musk. What's your twist on that?
No, I think that's another thing. Another reason why I love being in the Valley.
Yeah,
because this is super funny. I'm gonna give Elon Musk his honorary 956 card.
Okay,
like porque he's got kids with multiple baby mamas.
Yeah.
And every now and then prende el rocket nomás para rumbarle el pinche engine. Oh, like how tacuaches.
Los rumbadores.
Yeah, the tacuaches will turn on their trucks in their yard, and even though they're not going anywhere, they rumban los pinches mofles and they'll turn it off. That's how he does it with his rocket. So I'm giving Elon Musk his honorary 956 card.
And he doesn't even know it.
Yeah, he doesn't even know it, bro. He doesn't even know he's being a tacuache right now. And pero I think about it like this: if Elon Musk being he's the richest man in the world, right?
Well, yeah, documented.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, on paper, right?
On paper.
If he's wanting to live in Brownsville and he wants to live in the Valley, bro, I'm fine with living in the Valley too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why when people talk like down on the Valley, bro, we have a dude wanting to launch rockets out of Brownsville, and he wants to live here. He wants to get jobs to people here. If that's good enough for the richest dude in the world, why isn't it good enough for me?
Exactly.
You know, that's the way I see it, bro. So that's whenever I see people talking crap about the Valley, I'm like, bro, like we have such a great place to live down here, and I'm not I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm like, I've been telling my mom for years that the Valley is going to become a hub of international travel. Yeah, and it's happening right before our eyes. That's
more than international travel. It's going to be, we're going to another planet
for real.
From the base there, from Brownsville, bro. Can you wrap your head around that?
From Brownsville to Mars.
Yeah, the last hands que anduvieron ahí, because sometimes I've seen the videos. I'm a fan of Elon Musk. Miro all that. I even got my rocket up there.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
Yeah. So los cementeros. I've seen them where they shake their hands y le dan, hey, we're here in your support. We're trying to get your cement done. He's building a city there and all that.
Yeah.
So some of the last hands van a ser los del Valle before it lands in Mars.
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that. Oh, it could have been anywhere in the world.
Anywhere, bro.
¿Y de dónde va a salir?
Yeah. Y aquí el mero bayuco.
I know.
Bro, that makes me so proud.
Yeah, que le pongan un sticker de un tacuache en la wing allá abajo.
Right? Un 956 sticker.
But that's crazy.
The Last Supper, algo bruto like that.
Yeah.
And I think about that stuff all the time, that it's like, bro, they could easily be, and I mean, they were going to initially start saying that they wanted to launch out of Florida or even California.
Yeah.
But no, the guy who moved his stuff all down here, and it's like, bro, that speaks volume for the Valley. That should definitely make people proud to be down here.
Yeah, well, it makes me proud. I love traveling también, but I'm very proud to be from the Valley.
Have you ever traveled to a place that you felt that you're like, man, I could move here and it'll like I could move here and say bye to the Valley?
Honestly,
yeah,
several times.
Where at?
In Europe.
Really? What parts?
Italy.
Yeah,
outside of Rome.
So
in Tuscany.
So the last name Orta is actually from Italy. There's a lake out there called Lago.
I was going to say you look a little Italian.
It's Italiano. Pero Orta is one of the best lakes out there. That is like the high society place. All the people that are in
Orta?
Yeah, Lago Orta.
What part of Italy?
It's in the northern part of Italy. And it's
let's look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, check it out. And it's actually like where like the upper society lives. Like if you live on Lake Orta, it's like, madre, este vato vive in Lake Orta.
Yeah.
And I don't know like what my ties to that is, but
have you been to Italy?
I've never been to Italy, but
Tienes que ir, bro.
the only place that I've ever been to that
maybe next time que vaya te digo, hey, ¿sabes qué?
Ir a Lake Orta, wacha?
Yeah, okay. Put it up on the map. See where is it? And how did you know about this lake?
I always wanted to know
you
where
bumped into it on Google or something.
I've always wanted to know where my last name was from.
Okay,
because I didn't know.
I know there's Lake Grotto. Oh, okay, yeah, it's near
Orta San Julio or something like that.
Oye, Raymond, no me vas a creer, bro, but I think I had lunch there, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, bro?
Yeah.
Watch out. There's the northern part of Italy, right?
Yeah, so we've stayed in Milan y cruzamos para Switzerland.
Wow. So you're right on there.
I've been very, very blessed. Dios, God is great.
Amen.
And I've been, ahí, it's near Lake Como. Pero de Milan, agarramos para ir para Suiza. And we probably, because we were stopping on the way. And there's a lot of lakes and stuff up there.
I'd assume where's the Lake Orta at right there?
It's the one in red over there.
Ora, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, bring it up there, Roland. On the map, though.
Dude, that's like real pretty.
Está hermoso. Pero sabes, the misconception a lot of people don't know is you can get a super reasonably priced round trip if you get it in months ahead.
Yeah,
$600 to $800 per person round trip. People spend more going to Vegas, bro.
See, you know where I've gone to that I felt that I was like, man, I could move here.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Israel.
Oh, I've never been there,
bro. You have to go, dude.
How is it?
Highway, no mames, bro. Like it was such a beautiful. My whole family loves it. Even my kids, we've been twice.
Yeah,
I took my kids, bro. I baptized them in the Jordan River.
Okay,
and I baptized my wife in the Jordan River. I got baptized in the Jordan River.
How was that experience?
Hi, bro. Dude, you ever gone into como down here, we get into like the lakes and the canals, y sales como you feel like you need to take a shower, right? Like, oh man, I better take a shower, get this mud out of my hair. So, bro, I got baptized there and I left the river feeling like I had taken the greatest shower of my life.
Wow.
Like my hair was conditioned. Like it felt like, wow. Like I was like clean from the inside out.
¿Y cómo se llama el river ahí?
The Jordan.
The Jordan River.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same spot where John the Baptist was baptizing people.
So is there still things there like you can go visit y como dicen ahí,
yes.
It can kind of tell you this is the spot where Jesus was baptized.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
Dude. That's it. It made the Bible come to life into 3D.
Okay.
And like I'll never forget this because the first time that we went there, we were doing a Bible study on a hilltop overlooking the valley where David fought Goliath.
Wow.
And we're looking at it, bro. And we're looking at it and we're doing a Bible study there under a tree. Bien hermoso, güey.
Yeah.
There's some benches there and
what does it look like? What's the landscape like? I mean,
very mountainous and very like.
Y la temperature está caliente.
It reminds me of the valley. That's why I liked it so much. Like it reminded me so much of the valley. It's hot when it's hot and it's cold when it's supposed to.
And when was it? You were in the summer or winter?
I went there during August and September. The first time I went in August, the second time I went in September. So it was
you want to bring up some pictures of it there?
See the ¿cómo se llama el valley? The valley of Elah. Ila, I think.
Okay. That's really interesting.
And bro, when we're doing the Bible study, we're telling my kids, like, oh yeah, this is where David fought Goliath. Man, their eyes lit up and they go, man, you mean that story is true? And I go, yes, it happened right there. And it opened up their eyes to be like, man, the Bible's not just telling us stories. This is like real stuff. Like it happened right there.
And I feel those are important stories we need to be teaching our kids, man.
Bro. Massive. To me, that's the most important thing that,
so when you went,
I got baptized right there, bro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That does look nice.
It's beautiful.
So ahí está la fence, I guess, para que no te pases para allá. And, people go and
look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I push the play. Yeah, that does look beautiful.
No, hombre, bro. It's like
so ¿cómo es la onda ya? Like, ¿qué hay de comer? What are the foods like?
The food is so good, bro. Very interesting that like here in the United States, we have food that's being like poisoning us.
All of it.
¿Verdad?
Yeah.
Over there, bro, está todo kosher. Everything is like none of the stuff that they put in our food is over there. No, hombre, you know how here when you eat something, te sientes como you got to take a nap, or te sientes como bien bloated and getting chow. Over there, you feel like you eat and you want to go climb a mountain.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like that. Like it's on that level. The food is gave you energy, it gave you fuel. It made you want to go in for a walk.
Yeah.
Aquí en el valle, like, nambe de volada, comes algo.
And how many days were you there?
I was out there for 2 weeks, man.
But it takes that long because just the jet lag.
And not only that, not only the jet lag, but there's genuinely so much to take in that there's no way that you could ever do it in a week.
Yeah.
It would be too much. Like, man, even 2 weeks, my family genuinely wants to live over there. Like, they loved it so much. And the second time that we were out there, we got back. We actually, before that terrorist attack happened, we missed that by 6 days, bro.
Wow.
So we were there like the last day that we were there was like September 30th. And the terrorist attack happened October 7th. So we missed that like by 6-7 days.
So how dangerous do you think it is out there?
Ahorita, dude, with Trump in office, bro, it's not dangerous at all. Okay. It was crazy because they love Trump over there.
Okay.
They love Trump.
Yeah, it was we support him.
Yeah, and they're when we were over there, Trump was in office the first time, and then when Biden was in charge, it all dismantled. Yeah. For them it was terrible because but now that Trump's in office, they love that stuff. Yeah. They feel.
But when you go out there, paint me a picture. You know, I love traveling, so
you have to take your family, bro. Like you'd love it.
So paint me a picture como la onda como people friendly. Do they like Americans or Mexicans?
You know what's crazy is that I never told people that I was American. I told them I was from Texas.
Okay.
And that makes a world of difference.
Right.
Because Texas is so recognized that they love it.
No te preguntaban where was your cowboy hat or nothing?
No, they loved it, bro. They're man, we took the whole trip like all the way up to like close to Damascus and all the way down like to the bottom of Israel too. Like we took a whole tour, bro.
And most of all the war and the battles are happening over there between Palestine and
the Gaza Strip. There's Gaza
Strip right there.
Yeah.
So did you ever get around there?
Yeah, we were right next to it. There's a big wall there. There's signs there that says like, hey, like Christians and Jews shouldn't come in this place because it's dangerous. Like it's
the real deal.
There's a big ass sign that says you will be killed.
Yeah.
Like it's not even
Los Muslims no los quieren para nada.
No, yeah. And so it's like
that's crazy.
It is crazy, bro.
So you think it's more dangerous there than it is like con los carteles en la frontera in Mexico? Is about the same?
Like about the same. Yeah, about the same. And that's why for me it was like when we went to Bethlehem, like Bethlehem is como going to Reynosa, we. And for me, I was totally at home because I have family.
You know how to deal with it.
See, I know how to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My wife thought freaking out. Oh, I don't know. Let me get me out of here. For me, I was like, estamos aquí en el pinche rancho. Like, it's fine. Man, Bethlehem
no pasa nada.
No pasa nada. No pasa nada.
Next thing, you're coming out on CNN, Raymond Orta from Texas.
No, and
being held hostage.
You know what's crazy is that like I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'5".
Yeah.
So over there, dude, I'm standing like a foot taller than everybody else. Like, like, dude, this guy's a giant over here.
Yeah.
And so nobody ever really messed with us at all. Yeah. Like it was kind of calmao.
Okay.
And the tour that we went to, I highly recommend you follow Jesus Crew.
Okay.
Because they put on every year. Actually, we're going next year. I'll get you the dates. I think it's like in March 2026.
Okay.
And but these guys get together, and the more people that we get together in the group, the cheaper it is, bro. I was out there for 2 weeks with my family, and every day we're at a 5-star resort, 5-star hotel, and with breakfast and dinner included, it was $2,500 a person. So for 2 weeks.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. So bro, I took my whole family out there and baptized my kids in the Jordan River, baptized my wife. I got baptized. No, it was a wonderful experience. We got a chance to walk through places where David was chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like not where he fought Goliath, but there's this other there's this other cave system where David was running away from King Saul. And he, like, in the middle of the desert, bro, there's this oasis, like, and you look at the desert and you're like, there's no water out here, bro. And then all of a sudden you round this one corner of a mountain and there's this oasis hidden away.
Wow.
With a waterfall, and just beautiful place with trees and like goats, like lambs and rams and deer, like all over the place, like a beautiful wildlife refuge. And that's where David was running away from King Saul when he was trying to
You're
kill
pretty
him.
informative. So where do you read a lot about you read the Bible a lot? You go to Bible study. Obviously, you said that.
I love to watch Jesus movies.
Okay.
I love to watch anything about Jesus, bro. I love to watch it, but I like watching anything biblical. Like I love the Lord. I love the Lord because he's given me so much more than I deserve every day.
Amen.
And every day, if I can learn more about him, every day if I can share something about him that inspires people to seek him, I've done my job. Like for me, no, being a comedian is one thing, but at the end of the shows, I always end the shows the same way. Hey guys, if you had a really good laugh, I want you to know that every time I come up on stage, I always say a prayer before I come on stage.
Yes.
And before I'm even like getting to the venue, I'm praying in my car that the love of the Father be felt through the laughter that we brought, through the talent that he gave me.
Yes.
And if you felt that you really needed that laugh, I want you to understand that the Lord made that possible. The Father made me from the dirt, put me together, put air in my lungs, put talent inside of me so that you can have the joy that he feels over you, so you can experience how much the real genuine happiness that he has over your life. And bro, when people hear that, and I always do it at the end of the show, after they have laughed for like an hour, hour and a half, una risa mamalona.
Yeah.
Les digo, oh, by the way, guys, the Father in heaven made that possible. They freak out, bro. I've had people like look at me like, man, like, that laughter like came from up above. And when people ask me, like, man, what's your like? Because other comedians will go on stage and they'll make people laugh, but then when I go on stage, bro, I hit them hard in the stomach, bro. And people say, like, dude, how do you do that? How do you connect with a crowd like that? It's not me, man. It is not me. I get out of the way. I just pray and let the Holy Spirit take over and have him do the show. And as long as I'm there, and as long as I say that prayer, bro, the laughter is gonna be there because the joy, the humor is coming from somewhere else. There'll be times where I say something off the cuff that it's so fast, it's so lickety split quick that it makes me laugh too. Like I'll be laughing on stage, like, no manches, like I can't believe I just said that. It just came out of the like just fell out of my mouth.
Right.
But I know that it's coming from up above, that it's not even, I can't even take credit for it.
Right.
It's so good that it's like, dude, I don't know how that came up with that.
God is great. That's why.
Amen.
Yeah.
All the time. And when I tell people that, I want them to go home thinking, man, that was much deeper than just a comedy show.
So in your life, what created this strong spirituality in you? Did something happen in your life?
Yeah.
You had a paradigm shift?
No, I had a near-death experience, bro.
Okay.
I had a near-death experience where I was dead for like 4 minutes. And in that span, I got a chance to have an encounter with my soul, to have go into that tunnel of light that people talk about when they're dying.
You saw that?
Dying. Yes. And in that tunnel of light, I was given all the love that you could have pumped into me to last me 1,000,000 lifetimes. When the Bible says a day with him is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years is like a day, I understand what that means, because you're being pumped with so much love and so much acceptance and so much like bliss and freedom, and actually like no pressure. Like there's no IRS in heaven. So it's like feeling that freedom and feeling that like rest, real freedom and rest, where you're being just loved on and stuff, like on a different level. Bro, it was amazing. And at the same time, I was being given like all the information of all the answers that I've ever wanted. During that like 4 minutes that I was dead, I was seeing myself in and
you could remember everything?
No, I like this was crazy, is that I'm being loved on, and I'm just being loved on for my soul. Like my soul is being loved on in a way. And at the time I'm traveling through this like tunnel of awesomeness and love and information. And I'm being downloaded with information, like just given all the answers that I've ever seeked, just being downloaded into my soul.
Yeah.
And during that time, I'm hearing, Raymond, Raymond. And in my soul's mind, I'm thinking, I know who Raymond is, but at the same time, who's Raymond? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was like a kind of like a stripping away of the ego. Was like, man, who's Raymond? But
like
I know
a real essence.
Yes. Like, who's Raymond? Like, man, these people are yelling for Raymond, but I hear them super far away. Like they're like they're on another planet. And I hear them screaming with all their might. But it was my wife and my friend. I had just passed out in my back porch, bro. Like I was on a rocking chair and I just didn't feel right. And I told
what caused it?
I think it was an allergic reaction. But before that had happened, I was really scared of death. I was super, super scared of death, bro. And I would actually say no to gigs because I was scared. Like, man, if I go on the road, I could silly crap that I'd be like, man, a satellite could fall out of the sky and kill me. You know, like real, like outlandish fear for no reason. And I feel that I feared it so much that I attracted it to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an allergic reaction to something that I ate. And I just told my friend, I'm like, man, I don't feel right, bro. Like something's wrong. Call my wife. And in the time that we're outside and my friend goes inside to call my wife, by the time he came outside, I was just dead. I was in the chair, like no color. My wife's a nurse at the time. She checks my pulse, no pulse. She checks my heartbeat, no breath, nothing. I'm gray. Like I lost all my color. Like I had died.
Yeah.
And so she's like trying to get my attention, like Raymond, like trying to like scream for me.
Yeah, bring you back.
And then so I'm hearing these people call Raymond, wake up, Raymond, hey Raymond, and my soul is going through this tunnel of love, and I'm just feeling awesome, like the greatest. The only thing that I can describe it is if you had a grandmother that really loved you, you have a grandmother that really loved you, her love times a number that's like unfathomable, like trillions and trillions, quadrillions. Like grandmother's love times quadrillions of.
So what made you come back?
Crazy.
That.
Yes. So I didn't want to come back. Like I was in like my perfect space. I was fine, but I'm trying to figure out like who's Raymond. Why are these people so passionate about him? So it's like myself came and saw what was going on like outside of my body. Like I'm looking at the scene from like a perspective, like kind of like I'm like hovering over my body and my shoulder, looking at my wife and my friend like shake this body.
Yeah.
Hey, Raymond. And then I saw my friend Gabriel. He says, I'm gonna say a prayer for him. And I saw when he said a prayer, like my a white orb appeared in his hand.
Yeah.
Like and it was like a ball, like a big basketball size, white glowing, like super bright white globe. And he starts putting his hand on my chest, and I see that orb go into my body. Like, and as soon as it goes up into my body, my perspective changed from outside into my own eyes here.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up to life, bro. And I immediately vomited like this black tar substance. But I know that I was like a demonic possession, that I had been, like como brujeria and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the spirit of fear, the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of
expelling it out.
Expelled it, bro. Like y saltó it.
Yeah.
Like probably like 10
mm-hmm.
to like 10 feet of just like a solid.
You vomited it out.
Vomited it out. And after that, bro, I never felt that fear of death ever again, because I know what's gonna happen. I know where we're going. I know who has my back.
Yeah, and I think all of us experience our own version of that.
Yeah,
and not that I've experienced something what you have, though, because that's something spectacular, but that's very hard to happen.
I needed that to happen, though. Like I needed it to, because if not, my whole life would have been controlled by fear.
Yeah,
and the Bible says, "Fear not," 365 times.
That's why I read the Bible, not as much as I would. I'm very spiritual as well. I go to church, Catholic church, and I go to the Acts class and all that.
Man, I've always wanted to go to one of those retreats, man.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
And I'll send you a link if there's any available there. It's very spiritual, because you can't even take any type of device with you.
But that'd be great for my sanity.
Exactly. So it helps because we don't realize how many, or some of us do, how many distractions we have in life.
Big time.
And I believe all of us are a vibration, right?
Yeah.
And you always have to stay focused, read, and in the Bible and God, and to keep those positive vibrations, because every day we're being attacked.
Every day, bro. It's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual
every single day. So when you were mentioning that, and I think a lot of successful people that we work hard to get where we are, we encounter sometimes we're not even aware of it, but like envidia, and all this and that, and you gotta find a way to cleanse yourself and kind of push that out of your life. But anyway, so in the Acts class, you're there about 4 days, and it's like the best way I can explain, it's like peeling an onion.
Man, I've heard that. Like
it's very true, and you start experiencing it, and you don't know who's going to go with you, and each person has his own.
Their own story that they're
they're whatever challenges they are.
Yeah.
And you're listening and you start to relate to them. And that's pretty much I think I feel comfortable talking about, because I don't want to say everything about it, but it is an awesome experience.
Yeah, man.
I recommend to anybody to do it. If they have it, you must do it. Yeah. And so we can talk about that another time, privately if you'd like. But so that happened how many years ago, Raymond?
That happened actually before my son was born, so it's like probably like 12 years now. But before my son was born, I was even scared of bringing in kids to the world, like with my wife, because of the stuff that was happening. Like I know the stuff that's with the Hollywood stuff, and like even like the end time stuff. Like man, like I don't want to bring kids into this world like knowing that that kind of stuff is gonna be happening, and they're gonna be like, putting the chip in people and all that stuff, like the mark of the beast and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was telling her, I'm like, man, like I don't want to bring kids into this world knowing that that's what's gonna happen. And she was like she would call me out too, like man, like you're so fearful of stuff that it's like not even like remotely close to happening and stuff. And I'm like, no, you like, and she's not as read into the stuff that I like. She hasn't read into the stuff that I have read into.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like not knows as much stuff that I do, but on that aspect, she knows a lot more stuff in the medical field because she's a nurse. But from the stuff that I was reading, I'm like, you don't understand. Like we're like really close to this stuff. Like the end times are upon us type things.
Yeah. I feel there's a lot of red flags happening around.
Yeah.
People are so distracted.
Yeah.
They're not really paying attention.
Big time.
And then makes a little bit, también, the people don't know to research and kind of check fact what you're being told or what you're looking at.
And whenever people think that they know what's going on, that's all. That's it. That's no pedo. No, and they don't understand. Bro, the way that the flood happened, people were getting married, people were having partying and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they were swept by a flood. They had no idea. Like they were warned about it, but Noah was building this boat for 75 to 120 years, like between 75 to 120 years, that they were being warned about this flood coming, and they're like, este vato está loco. The flood took them away. The flood took all these people away. The same thing is going to happen, but instead of water being purifying the earth, it's going to be done by fire.
Yeah,
and the scriptures say that the sky is going to be ripped open and it's going to all light on fire. All the elements of the earth are going to be lit on fire. Bro, if that doesn't scare you, like that should terrify you. You know what I'm saying?
And the reason I don't think they're scared because again, social media and the movies, they watch those movies where they still survive.
Yeah.
So los periquea.
Sí.
And they distract you, and that's just kind of Hollywood or whatever, right?
Yeah. But that's, to me, that's like, man, bro, like you don't understand how it's real. And I know it's real because I've, like, when we went to Israel, you see the Bible, like you see the stuff that is in the Bible being put into your face, like it's right here. Archaeological evidence showing that this is real. And for me, it's like, yo soy bien analytical. I need evidence. I need stuff to be put into my, like, right in my face for me to say, oh, I'm gonna believe that.
Yeah.
So after my near-death experience,
you need verification.
I need verification. So after my near-death experience, have you ever heard of Ron Wyatt?
The comedian?
No, not the comedian. That's Ron White.
White. No, I guess I haven't.
Ron Wyatt is an archaeological adventure. I think went to the real life Indiana Jones, bro.
Okay, we need to get him on here in this podcast.
No, plus he passed away in 99. But
Okay.
he's got documentaries on YouTube. If you look up his documentaries, he's the one that found Noah's Ark in Turkey.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
he found that site, and he found the Exodus crossing
way
site.
up there in the some tall mountain, right?
Yeah, in the mountains of Ararat.
Okay.
And he's found the Noah's Ark site, the Exodus crossing site, the Sodom and Gomorrah. He found all those places. He found what else did he find? Exodus, the crossings, the Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah. He found like 5 different things, like where they're like monumental biblical discoveries. Right. After my near-death experience, the Lord showed me this guy, and shows me like all the archaeological evidence to show for the Bible. And I'm like, dude, all this stuff is real. You know,
Yeah.
all this. If this is real, then the stuff that's written that's about to happen is real too. Like there's no way around it. This is stuff that's gonna happen. There's
Right.
Stuff, even stuff that when I was in Israel, like I was seeing biblical prophecy being unfolding, like the Dead Sea. They're saying that in the end times, fresh water will start filling in the Dead Sea, and fish will start actually like starting to like take and multiply in the Dead Sea. Bro, there's little pools of fresh water being like pockets of fresh water in the Dead Sea right now, where fish are starting to, like, little tadpoles are starting to reproduce and stuff like that. So all that stuff is coming to pass like right now.
And people are not paying attention.
And people aren't paying attention to that. This is stuff that has been
talked
prophesied
about
for since thousands of years ago. So it's like you got to start paying attention to that stuff because it's happening right now.
So when you talk about stuff like this, and I'm a firm believer, and I'm with you, Raymond. But does that affect your job as a comedian?
Yeah.
Where people, I don't know, they say, "No, Raymond, why are you talking about that?" Or,
No, I lost tens of thousands of fans because of this. And
really,
yes, pero that's what's supposed to happen. That was the people's. It says in the word that when you start talking about this, people are gonna fall away. People are gonna like.
It's a cleansing.
It's a cleansing, but the people that know what I'm talking about, they know it's like, dude, this is real stuff. Like, this is not just like, I'm not just making this up. I've been in Israel. I've seen the stuff that I'm talking about. I've been to Sodom and Gomorrah. I've seen all that stuff. Like I know, like there's no way you can tell me that this is not true.
Yeah,
because I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've experienced the Father's love with my own soul. I know what he wrote about, what his word is, because I've experienced it with my own soul. So I can't not say anything. I can't stay quiet because that would be the ultimate selfish move.
The ultimate sin.
Yeah,
really.
For real. Like,
Yeah,
if
you even look totally different when you're talking about this, Raymond. Right now, you did a paradigm shift right now. Estábamos hablando, about your show, this and that. But right now that we're talking about, you even look different, right?
No, because that
you feel
my genuine
passion
passion
about it. Yeah,
dude. If I could be in Israel as a tour guide, I would do. There's this spot, there's this spot in Israel called the Garden Tomb, where they buried Jesus, and the tomb is there, and it's right next to the place where they crucified him on the Skull Mountain.
Right,
bro. The people that put on the presentation there, dude, if I could have their job, they're volunteers, man, and they live on the premise there. They have a little apartment premise there. Like, I would love to be there. I would love to be that guy. That just
why they're just giving like a lesson, or
they're giving a lesson of like,
I've never been there.
No, they're talking about.
Picture.
Can you pull up the Garden Tomb?
Yeah, sure.
Look,
you'll
so
find
you can see it. So you can understand that there's this, like, you're sitting in the garden.
Yeah.
Where Jesus was buried.
Okay.
Like, this is where, and you want to talk about a level of
when he was buried for days.
Yeah, for 3 days before he rose again. And you want to talk about a level of like the spot of chill. Like the spot of just,
you feel the energy there.
See, bro, yeah.
Okay, there it is.
And there's this spots like off to the side of there where they have like these little bleachers where the tours come in, and then you'll have the speaker there, like, see, they parked the buses right there, right next to, right there's the mountain where he got crucified. Like, that's the Skull Mountain right there.
So he was crucified up there?
I would say down in the where the parking lot is. What's crazy is there's the skull mountain. You see how it kind of looks like a face of a skull?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would put where that camel is crossing, that's the main road.
Mhm.
So they would put the people that were crucified right there
Okay.
in as people are walking in, they want you to see these people. Hey, don't mess around. This is what the Romans do. If you mess around with these guys, this is what's going to happen to you. So they put them up right, like, haz de cuenta en la entrada del pueblo. Like,
Yeah.
this is them, like, showing you, like, this is what happens when you cross the Roman Empire. So I've been in there, bro. Like, it's amazing to just to go into that tomb, and you see that little slab right here on the left where it's like a opening.
Yeah, I see that.
That's
like
where
almost like a coffin would be there.
That's where his body was laid right there.
Wow.
And bro, you want to talk about a level of serenity
Mm-hmm.
and peace? No, hombre, dude, it's another level of
You feel a positive,
a super
positive vibration.
Yeah.
From it. Yeah.
And right there, you see those benches right there?
Mm-hmm.
They have another group of benches on this side, like where the camera person is taking the picture from, and all the tours will sit there and they do a Bible study of this place. So they show you, they tell you, like, this is the words mentioned in scriptures. Now let's go into the tomb, and so you could see the empty tomb of Jesus. Hombre, dude, you want to talk about a next level experience for us? It's an amazing look. Can you pull up that sign right there, the one underneath it? There's these signs there that says, "Do not be afraid."
I was reading that. Yeah.
You come seeking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified, but he is not here, for he is risen. Oh, dude, you want to talk about like you see that sign and you're just like, and you're looking at the tomb right there, and you're like, dude, like you feel so euphoric.
Yeah.
Dude,
you connecting the dots, everything.
I could be there. I could be there all day. Like I could be there. Put me pa limpiar allí, güey. Like I'd be the happiest dude in the world, just sweeping up the place. Like I would be the happiest man on the planet, just being there, watching all these people come and see that for themselves. It's so amazing, bro. It's an amazing experience.
It looks really, really impressive.
It's
Super
truly amazing, bro. Like it's another level of like how the Bible is a real book. Like it's like it's not just a fiction book. It's a history.
So how many hours did it take you to get there on the flight?
I think it was like total like 17 hours, man.
So you must have stopped somewhere in the middle, no?
It was I think we drove from here to Houston, and then we flew from Houston to Turkey, and then Turkey to Israel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a direct flight from Houston to Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pero
interesting.
No, hombre, dude. And we went. El tour guide de nosotros, he's a real a toda madre. His name's Yoni, and the guy has access to a bunch of places that we're not supposed to go to. Like he has conectas and stuff. So we were going to places that were like, dude, I can't believe I'm here. Like, like we even walked on top of the wall around the Temple Mount.
Okay.
Like they have this like little alleyway where you're like the guards walk.
Yeah.
The ramparts.
Right.
And we walked all around that, dude. It was amazing stuff, bro.
Yeah. There's a lot of places in the world que es muy impresionante. And this is, the angle because it's more spiritual.
Yeah.
But when you see, you can actually touch history in those places.
Yeah, bro.
Like Vas, and you can touch, like, I went to a lot of Roman places that they've been there for thousands of years when they used to crucify around the Colosseum.
Oh, yeah.
All around, Italy. And like here, if you go to anywhere in the US, maybe 1700s and above, couple hundreds old.
You know what? The city of Peñitas is actually one of the oldest living settlements.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like from the 1500s.
The tree, I don't remember the name of the tree, allá atrás en el Ojo de Agua, in Abrams.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Moctezuma or something?
Yeah, ándale.
Yeah.
Well, that tree supposedly is like 700 or 900 years.
Dude, so talking about old trees, I went to the Garden of Gethsemane.
Okay.
And they have a tree there because the olive trees, they never die. They just keep on like shedding their skin and they keep on growing.
Yeah, and getting older.
There's a tree there that's 2,000 years old. Bro.
Wow.
And the Garden of Gethsemane is, for the people that aren't familiar with the Bible, that's where Jesus was praying right before he was crucified, where he prayed and he was asking the Father, if there's any other possible way to do this, take this cup away from me. But nevertheless, let it be your will not be done, not mine. And In that place, bro, there's a tree there that's 2,000 years old. Like, that means that tree's standing there. He's like seeing this.
Must have been there.
Must have been there. And this is where Jesus like was crying so hard that he sweat blood. And that's a medical condition. That's people think that that's like just a metaphor. That
actually happens.
Yeah, when your blood pressure is so high that the blood has nowhere else to go but through your pores. So if you think about how much anxiety and pressure Jesus was feeling before he was crucified, it's one thing to get crucified. It's one thing to know you're going to get crucified and know exactly what you're going to go through, and knowing full well that the brunt of the full wrath of God is going to be put on you for the sins of the world. Damn, bro, he was crying and shedding tears. In that place, they have the Christ thorn tree where they show there's these trees there that have the thorns. Can you pull that up, bro? The Christ thorn tree.
And those are the one where they made his crown,
bro. These thorns are vicious, dude. Like we think mesquite thorns are pretty gnarly, right? No, but dude, this thing is like these needles, man. These needles, bro, they're like 5 to 6 inches long, bro, and they're hard, bro. Like they're strong thorns, dude. Razor sharp, bro. Like they're vicious. And to think that these guys made a tree crown out of these, y luego they beat it into his skull, bro. No me te hace llorar, güey. And just being in that garden, knowing full well that he was experiencing this type of anguish and anxiety. No, man, dude, you start bawling, bro. Just feeling that energy.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you're connecting the dots, everything you ever read about.
Yeah. And it's there, bro. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, you're verifying everything. Well, we've really enjoyed you being here today.
I appreciate you having us, man.
It's been a blast.
Me, man. Thank you so much.
And just to close, thank you everybody for joining us here for the podcast today. Please follow us on YouTube, subscribe.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much,
Great
Raymond.
conversation too, man. Chingón.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Make sure you check me out at Raymond is Funny on all social media platforms. Check me out Instagram at Raymond is Funny, YouTube Raymond is Funny, Facebook Raymond is Funny. Though it's all the same.
Yeah. You got our support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
I appreciate you guys, man. Big time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
God bless you guys.
Thank you, everybody. And that's a wrap.